Yo, this is your boy, the Omega 13 of the Omega 13 podcast, and today I'm here with my guest, Alex K from last stream, and let me just say the last stream was pretty awesome. I have to admit that. Oh, crap.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, so that was my phone with Metal Gear and whatnot. Oh my gosh, shut up. So yes, I kind of like the first two Metal Gear games, so why did this? Well, so why did the stream early? Let me okay. I know. So anyway, just need to like put like a banner here or something like that. So I forgot how to use this. So anyways, the reason why I decided to do. Okay, let me just. Okay, so the reason why I did this is because I just wanted to like do this so people can have time going to their friends and family for their holidays festivities. I'm not a Christian. I'm a Muslim, but I understand people have like want to have fun with their family and friends during this time, and it mostly happens at night and whatnot. So
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
being Jewish, my Hanukkah already ended for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm personally under the weather, and well, due to everything else going on, I'm not exactly itching to go out at the moment. But
yeah,
understandable.
Yeah, exactly. So, as the title says, we're talking about the Switch and some games and whatnot. So, I understand people like Alex here is like under the weather and don't want to like, deal with drama and BS. And I just want to do a podcast episode because I haven't done these in a long time. So you can also put down any other topics. And what's up, Matt? Oh yeah, we're talking about some Switch games.
Yeah, he mentions Panzer Paladin. Don't think I've heard of that one.
It's a really good game. I have it on Steam, but at Matt, if you can, Matt 83, if you're able to send me get a Nintendo gift card that's $20 or $25 or so, I'll think about getting it, dude. I'm not a big e-beggar, but I just love the aesthetics of that game because I'm kind of broke at the moment.
Yep, like I got like a bunch of Amazon cards. I haven't used them yet. I kind of want to at least use them to get two of the Yakuza games that I'm missing. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like being a nerd is harder than it looks because especially if you're into so much shit, it's like you kind of want all of it, but you got to prioritize where you're putting it.
Yeah,
the cash. I mean.
Yep. But with mech games, we're talking about that too as well. But speaking of games, before I got my Switch, I got this case. I got like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 definitive version, and I got some my family's Switch games they don't play, which is Donkey Kong Returns and Street Fighter Anniversary Collection.
Street Fighter and the
Xenoblade and Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I heard a lot of people liked the new Xenoblade game, the original and the ones that followed after that.
Yeah, they had a fan base, and Alex says right here, Alex, my dude, you should check out Panzer Paladin, especially since it's a very much well-made love letter to 80s mecha anime and platform action games too.
Yeah, I just looked up some screenshots of it. It looks like something out of the SNES Genesis days.
Yeah, the good games, when games were good and fun and pick up the play. There's no complex battle systems. There's no online DLCs or DRMs. You just pick up and play. No BS included.
Unless you're LJN, in which case it's a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. That's their charm now. The game gotta suck in order to be an LGN game.
God bless
everyone played at least one LGN game, including myself, with Terminator 2, various Spider-Man games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although for me, the Spider-Man games kind of like they've kind of all fallen into the rut with open world, and it's like I've played one, I've played them all at this point.
Yeah,
So
except PS4 Spider-Man.
I'm one of those few people who was like, yeah, I saw the PS4 Spider-Man and I was like, yeah, it's cool, but I've played it already. I'm not
That's it.
enthused.
Yeah, yeah. Spider-Man PS4 was one of the definitive Spider-Man games. But I heard like the maximum. What's that one called with the one that's in the Amazing Spider Ultimate Spider-Man with the future Spider-Man and whatnot? I heard that one was like one of the best as well.
Future Spider-Man. The only one that comes to mind was the Shattered Dimension game, but that wasn't an open world game. That was like much more linear, and you had Spider-Man 2099 in there, I think.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite LGN game was Gotcha, and that was a shitty railgun shooter for the NES too. At my bro, let me just tell you that LGN, the game gotta suck in order to be an LGN game. Because basically, when you play those LGN games, they have bad graphics. Some look pretty though. They have like horrible controls, which is one of the reasons why they suck. And three, it's just a cash grab. Why LGN makes games or publish games that are based on famous properties like Nightmare on Elm Street, Terminator, Alien, Predator, Spider-Man, and my God, even Sesame Street, for crying out loud.
Are you serious?
Yeah, even Sesame Street.
That's funny. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's really funny. I'm like, dude, I'm not making this up. Just look it up on YouTube. LJN Sesame Street. Really, there's LJN Sesame Street games. I'm not kidding you. Yeah, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2099. I haven't checked out that series, but I always loved Cyberpunk and Spider-Man. But really, I always wanted to get into Cyberpunk, but I just said I'll just wait till the game comes out and see what people say about it. And fast forward to now, and I love I want to like Cyberpunk, but seriously, it's not for like PS4 and and Xbox One. You have to
Yeah,
go next gen to play it properly, and that has glitches too.
it also does not help that CD Project Red had multiple versions that they'd be nearly finished with one, and then they'd be like, no, scrap it, and then the
Oh
third
my
version or
God!
whatever we got the Keanu Reeves version, who they was pretty much a side character that they just
Wow!
blew up because they got him in, and like two other story paths were thrown out despite being completed.
Wow,
So
dude! They dropped
it's
yeah.
very much the opposite of, say, Thief the Dark Project, where how that game ended up was they found the magic at like the last moment and they ironed it all out right on time. Whereas here it was like it feels like they were twiddling their thumbs and never just
Don't know what to
got their
do.
act together.
So what I would have done, combine those builds if it's possible. Combine each build. There's a Keanu Reeves build. There's the other build, and then there's other build. Take all the good parts of those builds and just clump it all together if they have time to do that. But seemingly they try to do, but they didn't in time.
They'll I guarantee you they'll release like a complete edition in a year's time as a
Or
means of
two.
trying to win people back.
Yeah, they need to badly, man. Because I really wanted to like that game. Kind of reminds me of that one game called Renaissance of Fate for the 360 and PS3,
Oh,
and as well as the
Resonance of Fate.
PS4.
Yeah, I've heard of
Yes,
that one.
I wanted to get into that game. I even bought the game on PS4 digitally. I always want to get into it. Love the soundtrack, love the characters, love the aesthetics of that game. But you know what killed it?
What?
Make a guess, people. Just make a guess right now.
Censorship,
No. Matt.
localization of dialogue.
No. Try again.
Ugh, I got nothing.
Matt, what you said about why I dropped Renaissance of Fate? He's still typing to see what's going on for right now. But let me just tell you right now, it's actually the gameplay. aka the complex battle system,
Oh, yeah.
which they don't exactly, Mad Matt. The complex battle system. I even tried making a stream on it. I was freaking hyped too when I played it. Like that opening battle sequence was dope, but the complex battle system, they didn't even try to like explain how the battle system works properly. You have to go. I died multiple times, didn't know what to do, so I went to the Coliseum firsthand. And then even then, I even struggled how everything worked.
Yeah, that
And
was
it's
I'm not the
bummer.
biggest JRPG person cuz my first and well, last foray to the turn-based format was Lord of the Rings: The Third Age. Like I
That's
got
not.
so close to the end of the game, but I neglected to grind, so I ended up
Ugh,
with like weak characters, and as a
yeah,
result, I spent like 30 minutes clobbering the Witch King until he finally killed me. I ran out of regeneration spells and shit, and I
damn.
just gave up.
I don't think that's a JRPG though, but I get your point.
Well, not JRPG in the
Turn
technical
based,
sense, but it has
turn
the
based.
yeah, it has the turn-based battle systems. But yeah, I remember seeing for PS3 and I think 360 cases for Resonance, and I liked the art, but I saw the gameplay and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It looks cool, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'm gonna waste hours on it.
yeah. But the one thing that I try to get up, and another topic is there's this famous game series, and you started out with one of the weakest entries in the series, and for the longest time ruined your perspective on like that famous franchise due to like getting into one of the weaker entries of the series. Let me just give you one: Suikoden.
I've heard of that one.
And I started with Suikoden 4, which to fans is a black sheep big no-no. And I
Cool.
understood why. I did not like Suikoden 4. What fans say it's like super duper short, the characters are unlikable, the graphics, like how they did 3D first time, looks dated and ugly to the point I put first person mode because I do not like seeing my model walking really funny in third person mode. So I put it in first person mode, and it's like a mess with that game. But with Final Fantasy 12, that's my first Final Fantasy game has to be like seeing an old family friend play Final Fantasy 7 and 8 back in the late 90s or so, and I always want to get into it, but I was like a kid then. And then fast forward, I started playing like Kingdom Hearts or so, and
Mm-hmm.
then afterwards I started to play Final Fantasy 12 because I loved Kingdom Hearts and I always want to get into Final Fantasy. I thought it was going to be a turn-based game. It had a great story. It had amazing setting and everything. And as a kid, as a teenager, I did not like 12 as much, or understood the appreciation of its some of that word called at my journey to the FF. But let me just say, I did not like that game's battle system at all. It's like an
Yeah,
offline MMO with gambits and whatnot, and don't know why people loved its battle system. It's like crap to me. And
that's what I've heard too. Yeah.
yeah. And thankfully, my second FF game I played in full was FF10. I like that one very
That
much, but you cannot skip the cutscenes, which is my deepest gripe about it. And
yeah,
another
that
one,
that one's a
yeah,
fan favorite. Yeah.
and then another one was Final Fantasy 7, and then 8 and 9. I loved 9. 7 was great too, but I loved 9 more. And then I started getting into emulation and then started playing Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 5, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 1, 2 I played on the PSP. That was my third or fourth FF game I played, but my brother managed to beat that freaking game. Yes, FF2, the infamous FF game that has a strange way of leveling up your characters and whatnot, and it's really dark plot, gritty plot. But my brother managed to beat in the game, and it was his first Final Fantasy game too.
Yeah, there's always that one game gateway game that just opens you up to a greater franchise.
Yeah,
Like for me, it was Warhammer Space Marine, which is an absurdly underrated action game, as far as I'm concerned. Never, well, I'd heard of Warhammer, but I never really got into it as far as the game is the actual board game is concerned. I played that game, and it's like the gothic architecture
yeah,
and the visuals, the bloody awesome combat, the fact that it's like think Star Wars, but in a way it's like reversed. It's in our galaxy in the far, far future. You got like space marines who look like a mix of Greco-Romans and Crusaders, and you got demons and orcs with chainsaw swords and whatnot. It's awesome,
yeah.
and
I love the
that
art
kind.
style in that game, man.
Oh, I do, and it
Yeah,
just kind of like I want to know more about this universe,
yeah,
and I've read several books since then, some of which I recommend.
yeah. So Warhammer 40K thought that takes place on a similar alternative planet, Earth, in the far flung in the future.
Yeah, Earth is renamed Holy Terra because Terra is like Latin for Earth,
Yeah,
but humans have like spread to millions of worlds. But of course, they're considering that the universe of 40K is one where literally everything wants to kill you. It's a miserable existence. You've
if
got
you're an
like
orc, yeah, everyone wants to kill each other, and orcs even got crappy lives. Every race in that series got crappy lives there.
yeah, the freaking Tyranids are basically the xenomorphs times 12, and demons and
Yeah,
space elves.
yeah,
Even they're not nice.
yeah,
And the Tau, who are basically blue skinned space communists.
yeah. Yeah, the Tau, yeah, Timinoids. Oh my God, they even speak English, and they kill you still.
And the Emperor is just sitting on that throne, half dead, like, my God, my empire is in shambles because they didn't do what I told them not, because they didn't do what I told them to do.
And
So
his
it's,
son's like corrupt, very corrupt. And how that series ends, that everything he built is dead, including him, or that his son dies and everything goes to hell.
yeah, the War Master Horus, the traitorous one, and
Yeah,
like half the original legions turn to chaos, while the rest have to like pick up the slack more or less.
yeah,
And meanwhile, the emperor is like pretty much half dead, rotting away on the golden throne, basically keeping the Imperium in order. Because if he
yeah,
doesn't keep the Astronomicon going, then, well, basically space travel is fucked.
yeah,
I mean, it was already fucked because they gotta literally go through space hell just to go anywhere. It's like
yeah,
imagine going into hyperspace,
yeah,
but instead of being a nice peaceful trip from one to the other, you gotta basically take extra precautions to make sure you don't get boarded or possessed by anything dwelling in there. It's
yeah.
basically what happened with Event Horizon.
Oh my God.
A
Oh
lot
my
of people consider that movie like an unofficial prequel to 40K because they ended up in the warp more or less.
Yeah. Damn, I agree with them because basically it's like the first instance of time travel, warp drives, but instead of being peaceful, you get like demons living in that crappy place, and you get like messed up, man.
Yeah, and the the gothic architecture kind of lends to it as well. It's like a cathedral in space, and you don't want to be there.
Yeah,
And I've read a fair number of novels already, and
yeah,
there's some messed up shit that happens.
yeah,
I mean, I know Berserk gets a lot of credit for how grim it is, and
yeah,
rightly so. But 40K catches up in some places.
yeah. 40K, Devilman. But speaking of which, I love its mecha designs of 40K though.
Oh
They
yeah,
remind me of like Mech Warrior BattleTech, but more like edge on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they're definitely they have a much more, I guess you could say, Western look, where they're
Yeah,
basically giant, bulky walking tanks, as
yeah,
opposed to most Japanese ones these days, where they're much more on speed
yeah,
than armor. And I like the mechs and I do like, yeah, I like the edge that they have in 40K. Kind of like some of them look like closer to BattleTech, but then you have ones that look more like basically giant robot knights in a
yeah.
sense.
Yup. That wants to kill you.
Yep.
Like everything wants to kill you in that universe. Nothing survives there.
It's yeah, it's not one for the weak.
Yeah. I said the only happy people in 40K are the orcs. I say they're orcs and they live and die for war.
Yeah, they go on their little orc wogs and they're perfectly happy.
Yeah. Even though they die a lot and whatnot. Every race is not spared from like being a trophy.
Nope. And if it ain't chainsaws, it's bolter rounds.
Ouch.
Or demonic possession. Although I think I take the bolter round because at least then I'm dead immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, dude. It's like a mess in that place.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard from 40Ks from a friend of mine who liked the architecture and the designs, and they got. I wasn't into like board games then, but I like its aesthetics because they look
Yeah.
freaking cool.
Like I would like to try the board game, but it's expensive as hell.
Yeah,
Like with the painting the models and all that, like I got no patience for that. I much prefer the Gundam method where it's just a quick snap
snap build. A quick.
quick relatively speaking. You just put the pieces together, they're already painted, you're good.
Yeah,
I mean, you can paint them to your heart's content, which is nice and all, but for me who's not really into that, I pretty much go just the
snap
panel
build.
lining really.
Yeah, I just snap build my model kits, man. Love Gundam. I love Gunpla, man. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I get into the mood and I build it, and it's fun,
Yeah,
satisfying, and fun. Let me just invite Mister a guest on the show.
by all means.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I got a couple kits that I mean to build, but I've kind of been stuck on the full armor Gundam from Thunderbolt. That one has been torturous because you gotta like put in these vinyl garbage bag sleeves in the legs,
oh
and
my
they're
god,
they're a pain in the ass to seal in because you gotta scrunch them in. Like I like the look. Like it
yeah.
looks like how older NASA equipment looks, where they have all those coverings over the machinery. But
All those vinyls on and numbers and whatnot.
yeah, it's like a little, it's like a
Stickers.
big bag covering that like covers over sensitive machinery. Like if you look on the picture of the of the full armor from Thunderbolt, it's got like the joints are covered by this baggy covering. Problem is putting it in is pretty torturous because you got to scrunch it up, got to make sure all the pieces connect all around it, and if they're not in just right, and the joint for the knee or the arm bends, then well they tear, and one of them did. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like, I would have preferred a different method.
Yeah. So what? So Mad Matt said here is like, dude, how awesome would it be if there was a Warhammer 40K anime series? It'll be like Voltom's meet like MD Geist with Basso with a hint of Fist of the North Star too. I
I
don't think the
watched that.
Japanese will stomach for 40K these days. Not with its aesthetics, but how its setting is and everything, and amount of censorship they have to pull. Dude, it'll be too gory for like even a Western studio to take.
Oh, that I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Yeah. And yes, Mad Matt, we also prefer snap together gunpla. I don't like painting model kits. But how when I first started gunpla, I used a knife.
Yeah, I use a scalpel blade to get rid of the nubs.
Yes, and sometimes you get cut. I have to be like really careful to the point I decided, hey, let me go to a pawn shop and buy me a snap and those those wire cutters or snippets,
Yeah, I use
and it
both
worked
of
like a
those.
charm. It was a charm, man. It made gunplay even more awesome to build because if you had the right tools, it gets so easy and it's like a relaxing trip. It's like building a robot.
Exactly.
Yeah, you like build a robot, follow these instructions, and you're good to go.
It's like if it's like basically Transformers with an extra step. It's practically a puzzle in and of itself.
Yeah. If you're really good at the trade, you can even customize it with kit bash with many different kits and whatnot.
Oh, I've seen those custom model kits that I
Damn.
see, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, God, I wish I had more patience for that.
Yeah, same here, dude. Paints and whatnot. I need to invite. If you don't mind, I'll invite a friend of mine if it's okay with you.
No, no, more the merrier.
Yeah, yeah. What else do you want to talk about besides like being in 40K?
Uh, well, you got a Switch, but like you mentioned, but yeah, I'm waiting on the Pro because I don't want to waste money on the old one and I much prefer one that allows me to hook up onto the TV. I mean, no disrespect to the Switch Lite, but I kind of like the normal one, or at least hopefully the Pro one, for being able to do it the old fashioned way. And I expect them to reveal it sometime soon because, well, micro Sony pretty much just unleashed both their systems too early, and now they got problems. So it makes sense that Nintendo would pretty much just wait it out and be like, okay, now we're ready. And as for what games I want, well, of course, there's a bunch that they've re-released since then that I want to try. I'm I do want to try the Fire Emblem. I mean,
Three
I'm not the big
houses. I
yeah.
like the Fire Emblem series.
Like I'm not the biggest JRPG person, but I've lately kind of had the itch to, you know, be a little more go into them a little more. Like I like the much more actiony ones where it's like Devil May Cry or God of War, but everything else added in. I'm not the biggest turn based player, but I've thought of giving it a try at some point. And really, the game that I really really want, of course, is Monster Hunter Rise and Generations Ultimate, especially since World was my gateway game to that series, and I loved it for the most part. And of course, Bayonetta 3 whenever that comes around. And I missed out on the first Bayonetta, and
I just got into Bayonetta just now, like recently. Need to get back on the PS4 for that one, but I'm too kind of lazy.
yeah, they re-released it to along with Vanquish. So I need to get that re-release. And besides, it also didn't help that two nobody except Nintendo wanted to publish two. So of course it ended
Why?
up on the Wii U.
Yeah, that kind of sucked, and
Yeah,
that lowered sales. Don't know why no one published Bayonetta 2.
I don't get it.
Oh, we got a new guest right now. You can continue now.
Not
So
to
what's up,
mention,
Mister Anime? Mister
Oh,
Anime.
not much, guys.
We're just talking about 40K and random Switch games.
yo,
Oh, yeah, I hear you there.
Yeah, and Black Lagoon. Let's talk about Black Lagoon for a minute, because that's like the most based anime series and one of the best English dubs. Period. It
it
fits the mood. Everybody's a non-Japanese, and even in canon in the manga, the characters speak English.
it's definitely one of the
Exactly.
few where English is probably shockingly the best one because it just fits with everything. And not to mention, they did not add any unnecessary gibberish to it.
Nope. It all fits like a puzzle, dude. A perfectly fit puzzle, and every character is likable, except for the bad guys.
Yeah, you kind of want to see them get their comeuppance.
Yeah, see them die in a bloody way.
I mean, Revi's not exactly a nice
A nice
person.
person at all.
but you kind of root for her at the same time.
Yeah, because everyone's an asshole in that place. Basically, the worldwide criminal underworld and whatnot.
The scene that gets me every time is the one where she's drinking with Etta in the church, and they get under attack by mistake because this mob is chasing after that one computer hacker, and well, they're new to the place, so they don't know the rules of everything. So the bullet comes and cracks one of their shot glasses, and it pisses both of them off, and they just go on a rampage, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's it going, Mr. Anime?
Just dealing with life, I guess.
Yeah. And happy holidays to you because tomorrow's that holiday.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Glad you're doing okay, dude. I'm enjoying anime. I'm enjoying my Switch right now. PS4, it's collecting dust, unfortunately, because I already got every game I want for it.
Yeah, it's like that with the old systems too, because
Yeah.
it's like I go back and play them every now and then,
Yes.
but it's like it's a phase thing. It's like the new stuff is there and it's busy, it's taking up your time, so you don't have as much time to go and do the old stuff.
Yeah. 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 But I'm about to add here. Yeah, just invited some people. They'll come soon and whatnot. Thanks for joining, Mr. Thanks for coming, Mr. Anime. Anything you'd like to add?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got your link, so I'm all good.
Yeah. Nice. So, yeah. With the Western game industry, the last good game I had fun with was Titanfall 2.
That was a good one.
That was a great game, man. It's like mecha anime done right.
I thought the campaign was too short, but it was very fun for what it was.
Fun as hell. I thought I was on the right track, but it felt a little short. One more mission or two would have been great, but still is like the best moments in gaming. From like the beginning, how Jack Cooper, yes, the generic protagonist in your shooter game, modern shooter game, I actually remember his name. Not actually like the character, even though he's supposed to be you. And how he was trained by his superior. His superior gets killed, and then he gets the access to like what's his name? I forgot this man. BT8.
No, BT. I can't remember the full name, but
yeah, BT. And when you activate BT, it doesn't just turn on. You have to fight through people, like ambush soldiers, parkour, like Spider-Man style, going through, jumping, climbing up mountains and whatnot. Collect batteries, turn him on, and fight some soldiers that managed to find BT, climb into BT when their Titans came, and when the enemy summons the Titans, fight them off, and that's just segment number 1. Segment number 2 is you go through like I think that's number 3. You go through a factory. Number 2, you go through like a fortress or something like that, and you go through like it's all packed with enemies. It's impossible to fight back in a regular shooter game, even with Halo. And number 1, you use your Titan to like demolish those units. Number 2, you go through the enemies like through Jack Cooper and rinse and repeat on that one. Fight the first boss, which is one of the mercenaries the enemies used, which has an ace custom. Kill him. Take his communicator in his helmet so he can hijack their communications and whatnot. Then go through a factory, which is number 3, which is filled with death traps, by the way. Gotta parkour through those. Your unit, your BT gets, or aka your Titan gets snatched away via magnetations.
Yeah, I like a grapple arm.
Yes, and then you go through these. I said this before. and then you go through like conveyor belts and whatnot. Like,
Yeah, they're like building prefab housing and whatnot.
yeah. And then you go through that. And then the first phase is done. It's like a training simulator. You go through the training simulator. And then you have to fight through enemy soldiers and droids.
Yeah,
Then you get through BT, go through all that segment again after the thing gets like terminated or something like that. Sorry about that. And then you go, and then you get BT again. You fight through, and you meet him while BT was fighting enemy Titans units. And then after you defeat the Titan units, you get through the second boss, who's like a female android or something like that. Defeat her, which specializes in speed and speedy kills and whatnot. And then the second one, and then the fourth one has to be like you fought some soldiers. Oh, Mr. Anime's here. If he can hear us, but I'll continue.
Actually, I'm still here, dude.
Yeah, so
I'm still here.
Okay,
it's Mr. Behavior who's I guess it's supposed to be here because his name's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the live stream, dude.
Welcome to the live stream. If you manage to hear us and whatnot, and also, if you don't mind, I can continue now. And also with the fourth stage, after you fight off some units, like the whole your side's like being pinned down. You go through that. Wait a minute. I think that was the fourth. I think the fourth one was the ruins, or the fourth one was actually the nuclear plant.
Yeah, what I think it was one of them. I think it was before you run into your allies. It's the one where you have that weird time travel thing going on.
Yes, that was the ruins.
Yeah, I forget the exact level count there was, but I pretty much remember how the story went for the most part.
Yeah. With the ruins part, I thought it was going to be like turned to a horror game. Just like you're in alien ruins, and with these strange creatures in another planet. We're talking about getting ambushed by aliens. So that's that. So when you get to your to a device or so, which time travels, which becomes a gimmick in the level, it becomes Portal, but more badass.
I almost wish that was a main feature in the game and not just something there for like 30 minutes. I was like, why'd you take that away from me? It was so much fun.
Yeah, you're fighting through all these, and then you fought these creatures, and then you're messing with the device. You realize you're traveling through time during those events. You fought through enemy soldiers, wiping them out, and then fast forward through time and space, getting rid through obstacles from like hazards from the ruins and hazards from like the base when it was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, it gets all crazy in the end. In the past, it got so to the point, time and space just froze.
Space is warped and time is bendable.
Yeah, exactly. And then the fourth one was the nuclear episode, which was fun, to test your reflexes and whatnot. That was fun as hell and whatnot to get the whole base back in order. That was another fun one. Another fun one is you're invading the enemy territory, and you're fighting your Titans through like the fortress and whatnot through BTA or with Jack Hooper. And then at the ending boss, you manage to fight an Ace Custom. That's basically a tribute to Char Aznavour from the original Gundam series, due to like his unit and the Ace pilot being in red, which I can tell was a huge Gundam reference.
Yeah,
no, you're wrong. It's a JoJo reference.
What?
It's a JoJo reference.
It's a JoJo. Yo, what's up, Mr. Behavior? How's it going? JoJo reference. Yeah.
What's up?
What's up? We're just talking about Titanfall 2, aka the best first-person
I've
shooter.
never played that.
You should, dude. It's on PC for cheap. It's on PS4 for cheap. You can find that game for cheap, dude. And it's
so
great.
many games, man.
Yeah. I know the feeling, dude.
I'm like
All right.
making a
Can you guys
game
hear me
right
now?
Yes, I can hear you now, dude. I can hear your phone ringing.
Yeah,
Hey,
it said
so
my connection was really bad, so I had to turn off my Wi-Fi and just
Yeah.
switch over to my
Omega,
Yes?
you said that you can do concept art.
Yes, I can do concept art. Just need a piece of paper and a pencil.
You got to do some concept art for me so I can turn it into sprites and stuff.
Yes, I'll do that, dude. I'll just find a piece of paper and a pencil.
You got to
All
make
my
a game, man.
draw all
Come
my
together and
artwork.
make games.
All my artwork, all my art supplies are in storage. But I can do it.
Hey, what color should a healing item be?
Green or light
Green
blue?
or light blue?
Yes.
Light blue.
Yes.
Okay.
See, it's usually either that or red from what I've seen.
Yeah, I was thinking red too.
Yeah.
I mean, Devil May Cry had health be
Red.
green. Ninja Gaiden had health be blue.
So
and, well,
context: this is a 2D side scroller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Mega Man and whatnot. Thanks for
Yeah.
like sharing the whole concept and whatnot, being open with it. Like a style of Mega Man game, which I always wanted to like make, but I'm too intimidated by doing like programming and whatnot for it.
Oh man, the Unreal Engine makes it really easy, actually.
Yeah.
So
considering how many games, even in 7th Gen, used Unreal, they Epic did something right with it.
Yeah.
it's really good. I mean, a lot more games use Unity actually, but I'm finding that Unreal is a lot easier.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I mean, some people say it's not, but I think that it is because I like the visual coding style. It's like basically everything
Hold
is in a
on, you
GUI.
guys. You can continue talking. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll be right here.
Basically everything is in a GUI, and you like just kind of like plug things in. It's really good. It's just really good. It makes it feel like making a game is a game. You know what I mean?
Hey, hey
Yeah.
there. I mean, basically, I would love to actually try making my own game, but I really don't have any like skills in like artwork or like coding or anything like that. But I bet you I'd actually love to actually just take a moment just to actually kind of create something with my own two hands,
Yeah.
I used to draw a lot as a kid, but it's been years and I'm woefully out of practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Not help
I mean,
that I just
I'm
don't
not
have
good
the
at art
space.
or anything like that either. I'm trying to learn.
I mean,
how to use,
I've drawn dragons and dinosaurs up the bum for Lord knows how many times when I was in school, but
up the bum.
Yo, what's up? I'm back now, and Mr. Anime's just joined the party. What's up, Mr. Anime?
Hey guys, long time no see.
Long time no
Yo,
see,
Anime
my
Night,
friend.
what's up, man?
Hey guys.
Yeah, we're just talking about game development, and before that, we're talking about how crazy Titanfall 2's campaign is. Like seriously, the whole campaign from beginning to end of that game is insane. It's like a gaming memory that you need to go back at least once a year or two.
yeah,
That's
even
how
good
going
it
there
is.
was fun.
It's so crazy how
Oh,
gaming has
Changed
changed.
in like 5 to 10 years. All the stuff we remember used to be hyped for the newest games and crap. Like,
Yep.
oh, we got this new cool game on this new console, so I can buy my new game and play it. Guess what? We're like, or like,
Yeah.
forget it, dude. I'm good.
Honestly, the first and probably last time I had such hype was when 7th Gen was coming around, and the
360
game that
era?
had me like, I want this, was Lost Planet, the first one.
really?
You've got giant monsters,
And then
giant
you were
bug
insanely
monsters on us.
disappointed. No, I'm just
A
kidding.
what?
And then you were insanely disappointed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I loved Lost Planet.
That was Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 15 with me, dude. Because I've been waiting for that game for years, and I thought I was getting Versus 13, but nope. Let's see how
No,
this goes. But my
they
God,
changed a lot from what I recall.
disappointing mess. I don't know. Think
Oh,
about
fuck.
that one again. I always
Yeah.
think about his versus 13 and whatnot. Thanks for joining me again, Mr. Anime Knight.
Not a
And-
problem.
And yet, with what Mad Matt says here was the last gen of great games, which I agree with. From PS3 with their JRPGs, the PSP, the 360 with their amazing shooters and racing games. Who remembers Project Gotham Racing 3?
Racists?
Racist.
Project Gotham racist?
Project Gotham
basically-
Racist. You're playing as the Klan. You're playing as a Nazi. You're playing as
That'd be really funny, actually.
the
Maybe that's what
Mujahideen.
the
You're
game should
playing
be.
as all these hate groups like Racing for Supremacy and whatnot. Yes,
Oh
it's comedy.
God!
They got away with that. Oh my
no,
god.
no,
That
no,
would be
no.
so funny.
That's a joke. I meant
Okay.
to
That would
say
be
Project
so funny.
Project Gotham Racing 3.
Oh my god.
It would be funny if they did though.
That would
Yeah.
be so funny. Holy
Just
shit.
to like, it's like, look, you're calling us all this, so here you go. Here's a game with all the crap with all the names you've been calling us,
Yeah.
and the make believe BS with no proof.
Yeah.
That
So
would
here
be
you go.
so
Here's a
funny.
game. Here's a game for you
I
guys.
would
We don't give
die.
a shit.
Yeah.
That would be the funniest fucking shit in the world.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
satire,
I
but
would buy that
Project-
game day one.
Project Gotham
Father
Race.
Gotham racists.
Racist 3. It's a kart racer game where the Klansman has like a pickup
Oh,
truck, the
God.
Nazi has a Mercedes Benz, a
Yo, that's really funny. Let's
Yeah.
fucking make that.
Yeah, but we're gonna need the proper funding for that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like it combats racism by being a satire.
Exactly. But they'll probably bitch about that too.
Yeah,
So,
it's a joke.
They
Oh.
will not. You can never The one thing is you can never satisfy these people. No matter
Exactly.
how many times you apologize, no matter how many times you try to prove to be woke, they will never be satisfied.
Yep. And
They
look
moved the goalposts.
what Mad Matt gave a good point here. And they got away with that. And funny how I can't curse here. Changed for the worse. No thanks to our NPC overlords and whatnot. They're like even normies cannot stand them at times anymore because they have the dumbest as hell opinions. That's why I'm taking a break mostly from
Oh,
Twitter
fuck.
because basically they say these dumb takes that like you'd be like,
What
Like-
planet are you from?
what planet are you from?
Like
They make all these names. And the blue check marks cry to their fans and followers to attack you endlessly.
like
Yeah, that's complete bullshit if you ask me.
Yeah,
and they make up new words that for whatever
every
reason, like
year.
I'm part Mexican on my mother's side, and I refuse
Oh,
to
fuck.
say Latinx. And
Oh, that garbage
Latinx?
things.
No, we don't say
why?
Latinx here. It's Latino or Latina. But for all Hispanics and Latinos, I call them Latinos.
exactly.
I call both
That's the way I was
females and males
Exactly.
Latinos.
I've grown
It's
up with
Latina.
Latinos all my life, so
yeah,
I'm used to
I'm half
people calling
Hispanic,
people-
dude. Puerto Rican.
Even they don't
Besides,
like it.
Hispanic people are awesome. I don't
Yeah.
get why people are so fucking afraid of them. I don't get it. It's like Jesus Christ, people, get over your barrier. Friend, somebody-
Who's afraid of Hispanic people?
Oh, trust me, you don't even want to know. I'm just
A lot of
to
people,
day-
dude.
To this day, I still am baffled by the number of people I meet.
Yeah. America's a
Well, I
wonderful
mean, the people that
country.
are actually afraid
The
of
most
other
diverse.
people based on everything else. I'm just like, just learn to drop all that shit and go hang out with friends.
Yeah.
Go
Exactly.
befriend other people.
Yeah. Go outside your social circle. That's one thing I love about America because it's already diverse as hell, dude. It's one of the most diverse the most diverse country on the planet. We got blacks, we got Hispanics, we got whites, we got Asians, we got Southeast Asians, and yes, we got Native Americans as well, too. But we got in this country various different circumstances. Some got killed off. Some got forcefully enslaved here. Latinos are from Texas anyway. A lot of them came here from Texas, and they married, and some have Mexican or native blood, which are basically Latinos. No disrespect to Latinos right there. And the Pilgrims, aka Anglo-Saxon white people, and then you got the white immigrants there too. Yeah, it's a long story.
And all the various ethnicities under all the various groups. Like, again, with Asian, you get the Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And, with the Europeans, German, British, Irish, so on.
Yeah.
I actually still feel bad for the Asians because they're still living under the let's just say a certain country who still holds the ideologies of the former Soviet Union, and they will not let that go.
Yep.
I remember an Asian I met a long time ago at work. He told me that he was so thankful to be here in America. He had a place to come to.
Yeah.
Because he grew up in communist China, and of all the stories, of all the shit you've heard from that country, it's all true. And I'm just sitting here, and I look at this guy, and I gave him a hug because no one wants to live through that.
I've seen this quip from people where they say, "Can we trade all the freedom-loving people of Hong Kong for those who want to bring communism in full over here?"
I'll be right back. I'll be right back, you guys.
I would love to bring those guys. I would love to bring those guys
dude.
over.
I'll bring them here, dude, for a trade. I'll trade you for those people, man, for free. Okay,
yeah,
I'll be right back.
If I'm one of those people, I'd be like, yeah, I want to come to America to express myself. Ronald Reagan said it best: if we lose freedom here, there's nowhere to go.
And the only way to get it back is to shoot ourselves out of it and get it back that way. Which, God forbid, hope never actually has to happen, but as they say, the tree of liberty needs refilling from time to time.
But you got to remember this old saying: "Sic vis pacem para bellum." If you want peace, prepare for war.
Yep. It's kind of a peace through strength. I personally am a bit of an advocate for that, because a lot of those, especially on the far left, who preach pacifism, it's like no war, no conflict, no nothing, be all kumbaya or whatnot. It's like, yeah, it sounds nice and all, but it don't work like that.
No, because someone's gonna get pissed off, and unfortunately, as history has shown, it just takes one thing. It just takes one tiny thing to piss off somebody, and then they go to their allies, and there you go. Like what happened in Sarajevo back in right before World War I, when the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was murdered. And Austria-Hungary was pretty understandably pissed off, and they're like, hey, Germany, we're going to go declare war on these people. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's same with World War II, and basically because people don't study history anymore, and it's so sad. When you see all the buildups of each war that's happened, whether intentional or unintentional, it boils down to how ignorant people can be and how mad with power they can be. Forget all the peace talks and everything. I'm in the middle between like a pacifist and for war. I'm on the very middle.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
If you have a legit reason to go to war, fine by me. But I prefer peace talks, and if that doesn't work, at least find something to prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, violence is actually considered part of human nature. And also, war and peace are like two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. It's like, to paradox per se.
No, what pisses me off is why the hell are we even involved? We had no business in our countries. Let them figure their crap out. If they're warring, why are they asking us for help? It's like, look, we have enough problems as is. I am all for foreign aid, but that's it.
Yep.
Anyway, didn't mean to get political there. That was my bad, guys.
No, you're good. I mean,
But that's my viewpoint on everything else.
Yeah, I mean, World War I, you could look at that as like basically proto-globalism. Everyone is in bed with each other, and when one domino falls down, the rest go with it.
There's a video on you. There's a video series by Extra Credits History. It's called the Europe Concert, and it breaks down like how everybody was like trying to prevent World War I from happening. You don't see that anymore.
Yep.
But I fear that if this continues, we're gonna lose a lot more than anything else. There's so much culture going on. People are after each other just for the stupidest shit. Whether you're a gamer or you're an anime fan, it's like, what happened to the mutual respect that everybody used to have?
Tossed right out the window along with the bathwater.
Yeah, I mean I'll take gamers for example, because I remember when Halo 2 was coming out, there was so much hype around it, and a lot of debates here and there, and I was actually interested in hearing those debates. And people were like, "Oh, you guys suck at PlayStation forever," blah blah blah. Back then it was funny.
Console wars.
Yeah, the pre-console, like the early console wars, right up until the Xbox 360 and the PS3, around that era.
Yeah, that's when things got crazier.
Yeah, but when
Like
the PS4 and I think it was, oh Christ, help me out here. It was, I know it was the PS4. I think the Xbox Series X.
Series
No,
X.
or am I going too far?
No. The Xbox One.
Thank you. The Xbox One. It just became stupid. Like, it wasn't even funny anymore. It was just utter cringe. Because back then, people had more creative insults and creative, creative, laughable stuff we can all laugh at and be on our way. We said our thing, we're on our way. But now, you can't even do that anymore because people just look at you like, oh, ew, cringy people. Ugh.
It's like, yeah, they want you to pick a side and stick with it. Well, me, it's like, no thanks. I'm freelance when it comes to consoles. I pick what I like.
Exactly. I mean, I'm noticing a lot of actually that's becoming a lot more it's becoming more and more popular now, like freelance gaming. It's becoming a lot more popular. Because it was slowly going, but I think right up until after the 7th gen console debate is when it really took off, because people were getting sick and they're like, look, we're just going to go and support our companies or go back to classic consoles that made childhoods great.
Yeah. I mean, I have my personal opinions for certain consoles. Like, I don't like the Wii. The motion control thing didn't do it for me. But full respect to those who did get enjoyment out of it.
For me, the Wii, in my honest opinion, it was a great concept. It worked for some of the games it appealed to, like Mario Kart Racing or Wii Sports or the House of the Dead, Resident Evil because they had that toy gun. So in a
they
way, it sort of worked, but everything else, it was a massive headache.
Yeah. And then you
So
look at
I give credit where credit is due on most cases with the Wii. Everything else, it kind of overshadowed that in all retrospect. But if you guys love the Wii, knock yourselves out.
Yeah.
I'm just stating a few facts.
And the Xbox controller is like, it's great for shooters, and I've enjoyed them over the years. But lately, what drove me over to Sony for a while was just I felt Sony had many more exclusives where it's like Microsoft barely had any. And the ones that do interest me, it's like there's only like 1 or 2 games out of them. So it's like they lost me to Sony for this generation because of that. And now it's kind of gone back to the reverse where it's like, Xbox kind of appeals to me more because they're not wholly taken over by woke ridiculousness. Plus, they have backwards compatibility, something that sadly Nintendo and increasingly Sony just lack. And it's like, it's why I still hold on to my old systems, and why I either get new ones or repair them if possible, if anything happens to them.
Here's what bothers me, though. I mean, with the PlayStation 4, I mean, it has some of the PS2 games on it. Why not just make it backward compatible? I mean, they had the right idea with that, but it's not that. I mean, I don't know the specifics in backwards compatibility. I'm no tech whiz or anything, but if they did it backward compatible, it would help the sales at least. Like, look, if you're going to come out with a system and it's like, hey guys, you remember all those awesome games you used to play on the previous systems? Well, here you go. You're gonna be able to play it on the new system. Problem is they can't, and you are right about the Xbox doing that, because I mean, if Sony and Nintendo would stop being ignorant and actually put backward compatibility, you would see sales go through the roof.
I can kind of understand Nintendo's case in this case because they went back to cartridges, so you'd have to re-release the old games on a completely different format just to make them playable again.
Oh yeah, that's right. The technology back then. Oh boy.
But
yeah, I can understand. I mean, now that you mention it, I do understand. But I don't know how that would work though. I mean,
they need to like either find the source code or just copy it somehow from the old format somehow. And Sony confuses me because it's like, come on, if Microsoft could figure it out, what's stopping you from doing it?
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm finding more and more games for the old Xbox, especially since my original Xbox, it got fried in a rainstorm once. I'm playing it one night, all of a sudden the outlet went boom, and it never turned back on. So I had to go and get a replacement one. So if the Xbox Series X, even though there's only like 5 games that nobody knows about that aren't backwards compatible, at the very least I can play the majority of the ones that I like.
Precisely.
Mr. Anime 343 saying he got yeeted off the stream and he needs Omega to put him back in, and
I don't even know if Omega's back yet or not. We're waiting on him.
No, he's I guess he's going to solve the problem because I don't know any other reason. So if he comes back, I'll tell him. But yeah, I'm finding more games all the time for the original Xbox for my collection, especially like I think it's also on PC. But I recovered Thief 3, and I don't have a gaming PC, or at least one at the moment, to play any of the older ones. So that's probably the one Thief game that I have that I do intend to play eventually. And thank God I have another original Xbox to play it. And should anything ever happen, I would like the Series X so I can basically have newer hardware to run all of it. So,
yeah, I mean, plus, it just irks me because it's so bad.
Exactly.
Like I mean, remastering, which
Yeah. Up into Mr. Behavior. He just left or something?
he got yeeted and he needs you to bring him back in.
Oh, okay. I'll just give him another invite.
But yeah, we were talking about like backwards compatibility with and the pros and cons. You know, we were going over the console wars, how ridiculous it's gotten.
Yep.
And
this is not the 90s anymore, dude.
Yeah, right. Because I mentioned right up until up until the PS3, Xbox after.
Pointless.
Yep. It was a lot of fun up until that era right there, and then after that, it went absurdly downhill a lot faster, to where it's not even fun anymore.
I think my favorite. There was a video that AVGN did where he was talking about the timeline of Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. And I don't know who it was that did the art for him, but there's a picture where it shows the PS2, Xbox, and Nintendo GameCube fighting each other with knives and swords, and the Dreamcast is sitting on the corner on a chair crying because nobody wants him. No, like, I feel bad for the thing. It's look that one up.
See, it's like that basically. That's why it was so funny, because you see stuff like that and the imagination of gamers alike on their viewpoints. It's stuff like that made it more joy, that brought the joy and everything. Nowadays, people are just too afraid to. I mean, they're not afraid. They just are walking on eggshells now. Yeah, which is kind of stupid.
It used to be healthy competition. I mean, yeah, we took shots at each other, but it was all in good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But nowadays, like, Sony is actually censoring freaking Japanese anime games because, you know, they actually see that sexy women nowadays, they're actually bringing the toxic male gaze per se, and I'm freaking using air quotes on toxic male gaze because of all these freaking feminists and SJWs along with soy boys just trying to actually freaking make issues out of nothing.
Yeah, why I've progressively
upper middle class and whatnot, upper middle class, upper class Caucasian people. Let's just say that to be friendly, but you know what I mean. But
a lot of them are spoiled, rich college kids that basically are drunk on Marxism, and they're so uncreative. That's basically the Carlos Mazas and what was her name? The chick who caused Gamergate to happen.
Nina Sarkeesian.
Nina Sarkeesian.
Well, yes, her. But the other one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I like the dream. Oh yeah, with Mad Matt and what he said. I agree with him. I love the Dream. I like the Dreamcast, dude. Dude, I not like it. I love the Dreamcast. Like, they have Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Headhunter, Project Justice, the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Soul Calibur, Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2, Power Stone 1 and 2.
I feel like the Dreamcast, it doesn't get enough love nowadays.
Exactly.
I felt so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Sony had the right idea, but with everything exploding and
Sidney Crawford. I wonder who's Sidney Crawford.
Actress, I think.
Yeah, actress, and yes, that Anita ruined everything. Yeah, I'm trying to get one person back on before he got booted or just left or something like that, but
it just irritates me how freaking nowadays, like, people are actually trying to, you know, be so offended by every little thing that's out there in the world, whether it's video games, whether it's comic books, whether it's anime, whether it's this and that and everything between, they always have to either change it or try to censor it or even
because
just
they can't deal with it.
outlaw it.
They basically want everyone else to be as miserable as them.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
absolutely.
I wonder why they're. I love the Kakashi shirt anyway. So anyways, back on track here. But basically, with those people, they're just like they want to have like that's the similar mindset and view, which they cannot stand at. Not even in America, that they don't have the nice lives, the nice like house they live in, a billion like thousands of dollars apartment they live in, or the lifestyles they've been in, like the pretentious lifestyles. No, us Americans probably facing eviction. Number 2, barely have a job or lost their job. 3, a relative that died. 4, many various issues. But they only care about censoring cartoon games.
And then they preach diversity when really it's not.
It's not about diversity. It's about our diversity, which is basically all white. Like if you're black, consider yourself overweight, barely can like do 10 push-ups and sometimes be colored purple.
It basically reminds me of the Bane scene in The Dark Knight Rises where he's doing that whole speech, but he doesn't actually believe his own bullshit. It's all a show.
You think dark will save you? Well, I was born in the darkness.
Yeah.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I actually kind of like Tom Hardy's performance, different as it is from the source material.
Yeah.
Yeah, my stepdad. I remember he rented it because he was interested, and me already seen it. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna sit back and shut the fuck up. But he liked it. He thought Bane could have been done a little bit more per se, but he was actually quite happy how Batman was portrayed.
Yeah, I didn't like how Bane got nuked off the screen by Catwoman. I didn't like that.
Nope.
Like, yeah, he was great with everything else.
Yeah.
But when
voice inside.
Actually, my stepdad did cringe when Bane broke Bruce's back in half. And he's like, Jesus. And I'm like, yeah, I felt that too.
And you're probably thinking like, well, that just happened.
Oh no! If someone broke my back like that, I would probably either feel better and thank them, or just lay there and just be like, "Well, that's the end of it. Wheelchair City, here I come."
Yeah, yeah. Me personally, why I'm silent because I'm trying to invite Mr. Behavior back on, and I just giving him some like more like.
That's good.
Yeah, because basically, it's kind of wrong how he accidentally yeeted himself off the stream, even though he's like.
And also, as for the back-breaking thing, well, unless you're that one doctor who just punches it right back in, like, I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, dude.
Or grabs you by your head and, like, tries to pull, and all of a sudden you grow, like, 6 inches taller. That would be something. That would be like kind of like I mean I know Family Guy did it. And I'm like that would work in a sense, but I'm very concerned what the health risks are and what problems will occur with the sudden change.
Yeah, I'm reminded a little bit of the one episode where Peter pigged out on like a bunch of hamburgers, and he suffered a stroke.
So I remember that episode.
And then he goes to get tested at the stem cell research lab, and he's like, "How long was I in there? 5 minutes. Why are we not funding this?"
Yeah, I mean, we have all this amazing shit in the world. Our technology is not too advanced. But come on, people! You gotta try some new things like cryogen freeze or other stuff. Like, I mean, acupuncture. We came a long way in medicine, yet people just want to go and they just want to trust the big pharmaceuticals. They don't trust their own, like, the naturalness.
Oh, in 2 words, go nuclear. Get us some nuclear fusion. Get us the cold fusion if possible. That way,
Yeah, like medicinal marijuana, for instance.
yeah.
Which is about to be illegal over here.
Yeah, that's weed is a sticky subject.
Yep, big time.
I mean, if people are, I mean, my take is, if you're gonna smoke it, at least be responsible.
Yeah. So my bad.
I did. I got this Kakashi shirt a while back, though. I'm amazed I still have it after the move. I have no idea where my other ones went. I mean, I have a lot, but a few of them are missing. Oh god!
Matt says, down for Votom style mecha in real life or Pot Labor. I have not watched Pot Labor. From what I understand, it's basically Gundam for police, right? At least that's my impression.
It's more complex with that. Like Gundam, basically, it's not like it's like more like Front Mission, basically, for instance, without the over militarized mechs. It's mostly in Japan. It's like your mechs are basically your walking machines. It's ultra realistic. The Ace Police Squadron unit is a joke. Basically, that's how advanced PAL labor is, because PAL labor is just like it's like like the machines are basically like standard like machinery. The mechs are like just walking giant pieces of machinery. Yeah.
I think they're all gonna open that new Yokohama Gundam robot in about soon.
We're close to that. We're close to it now.
I want to see that in real life so bad.
Oh, same here. I mean, I would love to actually just go to Japan and just actually, take in the sights of, like, just being a total freaking weeb. But you got that one person, DJ Kirkland. Oh, don't get me started on him, because basically he says that, there's actually LGBT plus suffrage in Japan going on, and I just actually find that as like a total blatant lie.
Why people are into that crap in the first place? Because basically LGBT whatever alpha people crap. No offense, but it is as it is. But there's been manga and manga series for years on that subject, from like donoshi, aka fan fiction, to like mainstream josei or shoujo or even shonen works, but expressed in a different way. That's why so many gay people actually like anime, because of that. Nobody know that ninja anime. You know that its creator is actually gay.
Oh, that would make the little head explode.
Yeah, they're just there so they can get on the hype train and whatnot, and just be with the cool kids, and because we want to be whatever it's hip and whatnot, instead of being they just follow the trends instead of being trendsetters. That's what they are. We call them grifters and sheep. Hate those people, man. And they have excuses like, I've been around since 2005. Okay, if you've been on since 2005, name me a shonen or shoujo series that's not in Shonen Jump.
Oh, God in heaven.
Too many to count.
Oh, same here. Wow.
And all their ones are DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, My Hero Academia, Death Note, which is like 90 or 85% is Shonen Jump series. Might explode.
Yeah.
It's the most popular magazine. It's not surprising.
Yeah. But there's plenty of other ones. Hachime no Ippo, Ashita no Joe, Devilman, Mazinger Z, Holy Land, All-Rounder Meguru, Eden, It's an Endless World, Berserk, Captain Tsubasa, Baki the Grappler, Kengan Ashura. What's that one with Gods and Humans. That one coming out. That's having an anime come out too. Beastars. What?
Oh, Beastars. Oh, I thought
Beastars. Another one was the Gods versus Humans. That one series, that battle tournament arc battle series with Gods versus Humans. Have an anime series. What?
Was it Saint Seiya?
No, that was a Shonen Jump series. But
I
we're
was
not talking about Saint Seiya.
thinking. I was thinking Danmachi, but I think you're thinking of something else.
Danmachi, let's add that too. But that was Sumike no Valkyrie or something like that in Japanese.
It sounds so familiar, but I can't remember the name of it.
Record of Lados War, Ghost in the Shell, MD Geist, Akira, Ninja Scroll, Devilman, Violence Jack.
I heard the record was basically like a love letter to D&D.
Yeah.
What about Attack on Titan now?
Yeah, add that too. That's on a Shonen Jump series.
So
we're naming those that are not nice box, that are not actually from Shonen Jump. Anyone. And that'll be a video all day. And what the hell's that size of that box, man?
So
ELK.
I've been teasing the hell out of you guys for almost 2 months now. I think it's now time to unveil.
You're doing an unboxing special. Everyone, pause for a minute and let Mr. Anime Knight take the show here. For his,
because I've been teasing in my videos. If you've been paying, and Mr. Anime's been paying attention, as well as Omega and a few others. So now keep in. Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
They really.
If you say for a moment here, but Anime Knight has Madman has a good point here. I still don't understand the hate for MD Geist. It's like an ultra-violent 80s movie, action movie in anime form. It's basically because of anime hipsters don't like macho-ness. I haven't watched that much I don't watch that much macho movies, but MD Geist is like those you shut off your brain type of action movie. They just don't like macho stuff, period.
Basically. Sorry. So it's basically like a Schwarzenegger in anime, basically, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's sci-fi and it's violent. Because pretentious overthinkers want to see like themes and whatnot and yada yada. They don't like having.
I mean, I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind intellectual stories, but at the same time, there's room for the simple stuff.
Yeah.
You just want to kick back and just watch something explode.
Yeah. There's this one anime probably people think of their low tier list was like Black Lion for Go Nagai fame. What's this here? Black Rock Shooter.
Oh. How did you get your hands on it?
Let's just say I have a friend of mine who knows where to get it. And it was not easy.
Yeah.
And it costed me about almost $200.
Damn.
Probably the most expensive figure to date, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn.
I am proud to present.
Thank God I'm not into figure collecting.
I need a couple of anime figures myself.
Same here. They're kind of out of my price
I
range.
actually have a ton of these. I actually have anime figurines, and basically, I like to do the same thing Anime Knight does.
Black Rock Shooter Beast.
Oh.
I am proud to present.
From what franchise?
Black Rock Shooter.
I feel like I've heard that one somewhere.
Yeah. Black. Can't see to get him back on.
Uh-oh.
Let me try one more time, but doesn't seem to get the message.
Yeah.
Let me just try.
But yeah, this is why I've been teasing for almost 2 months now, and people are like, that tease there.
And it's on a podcast.
Hey, how's this for an early Christmas surprise for everybody?
Yeah, it's seriously, basically, you're stuck there on a podcast, and the whole figurine episode is on someone's podcast. Dude, you better like share this link after it's done, dude, for your fans. You do unboxing figurine.
I do like the sticker though. I mean,
yeah,
the detail, and I just actually that's my next tattoo, officially.
Yeah,
that's
not a big
my
fan
next
of tattoos though.
I like that the expression on the chibi figure on the chibi drawing.
Yeah,
like with that almost deadpan serious look. And it comes with a book.
Tattoo.
You want to know something silly?
What's up?
This book is heavier than the box.
Holy crap.
I'm not kidding. I am not joking one bit, people. If you felt the weight of this book, you'd be like, Jesus Christ, what is in here?
As one who moves books for a living at a Goodwill can confirm, the more pages are packed in a book, the heavier it is.
Trying to think of a way I can do
this. The cardboard box is nothing by comparison.
Oh dear, I'm going to break this plastic. I'm going to put this back.
Man, that's impressive.
But yeah,
nice.
An early Christmas present for you all, but I will do a full... Shit. But I will do a full display at a later date. But I was just showing now what was in here that I've been having by me ever since I first teased it in one of my episodes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But this is the book of Black Rock Shooter. If I can hold it all in one place. But yeah, an episode. And you're right, Omega. A figure episode on your podcast. If this doesn't bring in more viewers, I don't know what will. I might have to like literally summon. I would probably have to summon Raya Scaremery or Motoko Kusanagi just to boost the ratings if I have to.
Yep.
Either that.
Go ahead, dude.
Either that, or I do not know.
Yeah.
But damn, that book is heavy. I can't even fucking hold it. That's embarrassing.
Thanks for the show, dude. Pretty appreciate it. Really thanks for it, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Nice Old Republic comic omnibus will be that big. Because it's like 1,300 pages. They're saying it's oversized.
I forget how many... Oh, actually, there was more to it. Holy shit. I didn't see that.
And as soon as that omnibus gets made available for order, I'm doing it. I'm not letting it get away.
Supposedly, that's what the figure looks like. Based on the art. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool when I get her up and running.
I like the black and blue with the color scheme with the guns.
Yeah, I am really, really excited though. But yeah, officially this will be my tattoo though. Most definitely.
Yeah, I don't do tattoos, but I understand, dude.
Yeah, people saw my coworkers. They saw this one, and this one has a story to it. The yin yang represents the balance of my life. Like it represents the balance I used to have. The barbed wire is like when all of it came crashing down and upset the balance. And now, and then the blood on, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but the blood that's trickling down from the edge of the barbed wire or the little bracket things, that represents the scars I live with.
Damn.
And people are like, you came up with all that by yourself. I'm like, yep, it's the best elaborate story I could come up with. And it makes sense. Because decades upon decades of carrying scars and everything, it has a story.
Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to get people. I'm trying to get this one person back on, but no avail anymore. Probably gave up or something. I'm really sorry about that.
Nah, you're good, man.
Yeah, but let me just say that it's really interesting how you came up with that story with barbed wire and how your life became hell and how the blood was basically the scars and all the painful memories you had in your life.
Yeah, that's
Symbolism.
like a better. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
as close as I can get, but
yeah. And can I see anyone here got any extra like Nintendo gift cards or stuff lying around?
Afraid
I-
not.
I'm
Okay.
I
afraid
still want
not.
to get my hands on a Nintendo Switch, but those things really cost money, and we're still waiting on the freaking stimulus checks along with some more unemployment money to come through. But either that or actually getting like jobs open again. But with the whole COVID thing going around, it's a freaking mess.
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
a mess big
China.
time. Thank God I got a job still. At least I got a job though. Not a lot of hours.
Precisely. I'm happy. I'm happy I have one. I may not like my boss, but you know what? At least
Oh,
my
I
coworkers
understand
make
the
it
dick
better.
boss, man. Let me tell you a story about jobs. When I used to work back at McDonald's almost a year ago, basically a year ago, it was freaking hell on earth working at Christmas at McDonald's. It was at nighttime. And it was like freaking like Christmas Day at night. Kid you not.
They're all coming in for their last minute meal.
Yes, and then it was like a big like crowds like everywhere and whatnot. It was so bad that we had to close the lobby. And everyone had to order through the freaking drive-through. And it took to like 3 in the morning. The lines were endless.
Oh
You'd think
God!
Wouldn't
And I
they
said
be
to
like,
myself, I don't want to do this ever again.
You
You'd
you
think
could
they'd,
not pay me. You could not pay me enough to put up with that BS.
No, it got so bad that my good coworker and friend got upset at one of the customers because they're like really trip. I was like that was on New Year's. We used to work on New Year's Eve as well. And this guy was like he was like really upset or something, and he didn't misunderstood a customer, or he thought the customer was like basically messing with him. And due to like all the stress, he exploded.
he couldn't take
I don't
anymore?
blame it. Yeah, exactly. I don't blame him.
I'm
So
amazed.
what-
I'm amazed I haven't snapped at my fast food job before switching to
Grocery.
being grocery. I mean, grocery. Yeah, I'm working with customers and everything, but hey,
Yeah.
at least I'm not cooking food. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
But I look at it like this: people just go into the store just to get their items and be on their way.
But
Minimum stuff like hi,
hang on,
and
I'll be right back, you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
like a minimum hello, oh thank you, I'm fine, or where is this at? About as minimum as you can get.
Exactly. Just want to get their items and leave.
Yeah,
And really,
unfortunately.
but thank God I work on morning shifts. Prefer the morning
Trust
shifts.
me.
And everyone in life, let me hear me out here. Everyone had a jerk ass boss. It's part of life. And sometimes you don't want to work with this dude at all. Screaming at you or spazzing at you.
Or trying to tell
working
you how to
fast.
do it his way.
Yes. Ugh.
That shit I really hate, because it's like, look, I'm just here to do. At the end of the day, we're just here to do the job that they hired us for.
Yeah.
Everything else comes second. It's like, look, I'm just here to make a decent living as best as I humanly can and go home.
Yep.
I can put up with the theatrics and everything, but please let me do it my way.
Yeah.
That's all we ask people. We're not asking for like a silver platter or anything. We just want to do our jobs the way we want to do it.
Yeah.
And still make money.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Here's what Mad Matt said. I'm actually amazing that I haven't gone ballistic at my job at Goodwill.
Can
Man.
relate.
Oh God.
Speaking of which, I tried getting a job at Goodwill, but no avail.
Yeah, I tried it as well, but I haven't heard anything. Well, I mean, it's before before this whole thing
Yeah, same
happened,
here, dude. Nothing
and
happened.
well, before the whole pandemic and shit and everything. But it's just so sad that they want that the expectations are like, oh, we need more of this, or you need more of that, more years than this. It's like how many more experience do you need? I'm qualified enough, but sometimes you could be overqualified, which that in of itself is just as annoying as being underqualified.
Yes.
I find the overqualified thing to be kind of dumb because it's like,
Yeah.
I fit the parameters, give me the job.
I just want a job. I don't give a shit if I'm overqualified or underqualified. Just say yes, we'll train. Yes, we'll hire you and train you.
I mean, I can
That's
get
it. That's all we want. That's all we
Yeah.
want is just to have a job. And I bet all the people in the chat can agree with that.
Yes. Especially people who are jobless and cannot find jobs in their area. Like you live in the South or you live in a rural part of Washington State.
I can say and to everybody who's looking for a job, we all, me, Omega, and a few other people, we all know the struggle. It took me a while before I got my break at the place I work at.
I'm back.
Seriously,
Somehow my
bro.
microphone got turned off.
So basically, what Madman said, oh, believe me, I used to work with an asshole coworkers a lot. This one coworker I used to work with was such an asshole boomer that he berates me for even taking a small break. Wow, dude.
Jesus.
Jeez. What, you're not allowed to take a... I mean, you're allowed to take a break after working for X amount of hours, because I usually take my break roughly about 4 hours after I come in, so that way I put in enough work, and then my coworker's like, hey, have you gone on break yet? I'm like, no, I haven't. But to get berated over a small break, I mean, Jesus, we're all human, people. We're not perfect, and we're not superhuman. If we were, the whole world would be a lot different and a lot more better. But wishful thinking.
Yeah, wishful thinking indeed, dude. Like basically you get these like crazy coworkers like rush you, like, come on, let's go. And
oh God,
screaming
I
at you
hated
like,
when they do that. Oh,
yeah.
I'm like, you have no pay. I wish you could just throw them out. Like cashiers were given the ability to throw people out with the approval of the manager. Like they would ask the manager first, like, hey, look, this guy's being rude. Can we please throw him out?
Yeah.
Yeah, just pick them up by their legs and use their head to open the door.
Yeah.
That would be the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Damn, man. That
But since
also,
I don't work fast food anymore, just the joys of being free and being able to laugh at the customers for their stupidity, like, ha, you people are stupid and you have the most absurd specifications and expectations of us workers. It's absurd.
Yeah.
I get you're on your lunch break. I get that. But please, there's like what, 4 or 5 billion people on this planet besides them.
Yeah.
They have lives too, and they're just as hungry as you are.
Yeah. Exactly.
The little respect goes both ways, more or less.
But Omega, I do not envy you, my friend. I feel so bad.
Guess what, dude? I quit. And then there didn't have a job to like 6 months, and then I got the Taco Bell job, which is a way better job in my opinion. My job is basically just inventory, like basically just arrange stuff from like put the old stuff out first to use first, and then you put aside with the new stuff.
Yeah,
inventory.
they do that. They do that in my work. I do that in my work as well. It depends on the item though. It really depends. We usually if it's like bagged, we looked at the date, but with fruit, it's so much. It's so different.
Yeah.
Because you have to because you don't know if it's been out or what, and so we have to rotate. But thank God we don't have to rotate it at night because it's already done.
Yeah.
But the
I'm also
wet rack is probably like the most. I have to say 9 times out of 10, the most inconsistent one because there's just so much like from organic to the actual stuff to the non-organics because you have to be very careful because some of the stuff they look the same but they're
Yeah.
worded differently and it's like oh god more knowledge more BS.
Yeah.
But my
Exactly.
favorite but my favorite table to fill is it's probably the potato table because it's just so simple. It's just potatoes and onions and you're done.
Yeah. Exactly. The freezer stuff is, even though it's heavier, it's a lot more easier to do. Just what I did is basically I take out I tackle each section after I take out everything out from the freezer, and then from the ground beef I do the ground beef, and then the tomatoes I do the tomatoes, and then I'll do the steaks or the steak or the chicken. Put the new ones in the freezer, and if you have have some space, take some old ones out and put it on the left, and put the ones I already opened for the chicken, put them on the right and mark them. And steaks, same thing. If you have a little bit of space, use a box cutter, cut it to a fraction, and then stick it on top of the box if you manage to fit it down. If you manage to fit it on that tool.
Best fucking tool on the planet.
Yes.
And they let me keep it because it's like, here, take it. And we're allowed to take these home. We're allowed to take these home, which is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
This thing has saved me a lot more trouble with unboxings. I will say that for a fact. No more running to the fucking kitchen just to find a knife or scissors or what have you. When I got this here, it's the best feeling in the world.
Be careful, don't cut yourself on it though.
Too late with that. No, I haven't. No, guys. I'm cut myself on the stream, but I have done it at work by accident. Thank God. It's just like, thank goodness it's not like
it's a little cut.
It's like good. It's like good ones, but not like life threatening.
Yeah.
And my boss, he's such a drama queen. He's like, "Did you cut yourself?" I'm like, "Yes, by accident." He's like, "No, you're supposed to say no." I'm like, "I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna do that. Don't make me lie. The hell is wrong with you?"
Where's a Band-Aid, dude? Some disinfectant and a Band-Aid.
Exactly. I had the Band-Aid on already. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm human too, you know.
Not even Goodwill says cover up wounds.
What do you do, boss?
What?
Here, why don't we find out though?
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't do that to him.
What you said, Alex?
I was like, not even Goodwill will tell you to hide your wounds. No, they want you fixed up, for God's sake.
Fix up or go home or send you to the hospital.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've yet to ever cut myself with a box cutter. But I did cut my thumb once with a surgical knife while making my first Master Grade Gundam, and well, let's just say I didn't angle it in the direction I should have, and it took a while to heal.
Yeah.
Ouch. I'm amazed you still have your finger because those things are sharp as fuck.
Yep. I mean, it's not the first time I've used such things, similar tools. I mean, I used to do, zoology classes in high school and college. But when it comes to those kits, certain pieces, especially where the nubs are put in like very hard to cut areas, it's like you gotta be. It can be, it can be tricky, and sometimes you end up cutting either too much of the block you're trying to cut. To iron out, or even worse, you end up with the stab instead. It ain't pretty.
Actually, I'm kind of concerned how the Night Gundam's gonna be when I unbox it and start building it. I'm hoping it's gonna be a little bit simpler since it's a small one. But one day I will get the the bigger version of it. But that Night Gundam, though, that is the one Gundam I would pilot.
Yeah.
That is definitely the one I pilot. Speaking of which, I did a new video last night, and I got this.
Huh.
Arena Sensei?
Yep. From Assassination Classroom, signed by the voice actress Martha Harms.
Nice.
Not joking. I am
not a name I'm familiar with.
She voices Officer Jenny. If you guys played Borderlands, she voiced Myra and so many. There we go. The many characters she has voiced. I don't know if I can.
Whoa, that is awesome,
dude.
Yeah, I was really shocked, and also I got like a few fan art things from like really talented fan artists, like My Hero Academia one.
I'll be back in a minute, folks. Hold on.
Okay.
Is it Academia or Academia?
Academia,
I didn't say it right. But yeah, I wish Comic-Con. I hope Comic-Con is open again because I want to go again. The one out here is a lot of fun.
I want to go to an AmiCon period.
Yeah, I've actually been to like 2 Comic-Cons in my time, and basically up here in Maine, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I even actually got to meet Johnny Young Bosch.
Damn. Yeah.
Still mad at you for that.
Yeah.
And that was like back in 2017 too.
Damn.
Yeah, and apparently I pissed off a few people by meeting those Tama Tsunami, and they're like, "You bastard!" I'm like, "You hate me." Yeah. It was either him or Johnny Young Bush. I'm just like, oh, decisions. That's the worst thing. That's the worst thing of the cons, like whose autograph to get first.
Yeah.
And who has the shorter line. But I felt so bad for my sister, though. I really felt so bad because she loves Tom Kenny from SpongeBob. Yeah, and because I think, and also from Spyro as well.
Yeah.
And the line was absurdly long.
Yeah.
And she forgot, and she wanted and unfortunately she forgot the item she wanted him to sign at the house. And I'm like, look, next time he comes here, we're going there first, if it makes you feel better. And she's like, I would like that. I'm like, good, then it's settled. Next time Tom Kenny comes out here, that's the first place we're going.
I mean, I would love to actually, one person I would love to meet is Troy Baker. I mean, I would love to actually just sit down with the guy.
God, I loved him as Pagan Min from Far Cry 4. I loved him.
Oh yeah, I would love to actually sit down with him.
Such a badass. Like, how can you not like him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend who we went to MegaCon one year, and Kevin Conroy was there. You know,
oh God, love him as Batman.
Same here. He is Batman.
He wasn't able to see him because the line was too long. That, and you have to pay a fee to do it, and it's just we ran out of time and he couldn't do it, and he wasn't happy about it. So we're hoping that once everything clears up, he comes back, and it'll be the first thing he does.
Yeah, a fee, like a $50 fee. Damn, man.
Yeah, it's like 30 or 50. Can't remember the number.
Too much money.
Yeah,
I mean, if I ever had a chance to meet Troy Baker, I would love to actually do like a little sit down and try to make each other laugh with the insults by using our Pagan Min voices, because I can actually do a pretty mean impersonation of Pagan Min.
And the funny thing is the story behind how he got the role. I think he threatened he improvised. He did an improv, and some lady walked in during the recording session, and he improv the entire threat, and I'm just like, damn. She didn't even know if he was joking or not. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
That's what made it so hilarious.
And the people were like, "This is good. They're like, this is good. Keep going. Let's do this then." See, improv works.
Yeah.
In the right situations, it does work. I wish we had more of that nowadays.
He actually got his inspiration for Pagan Min from Christoph Waltz, as he actually played Colonel Hans Landa.
Well, there's a fair number of actors where it's like they get the character so much that they don't even need the script. They just ad lib.
Damn.
I mean, I think Robert Downey Jr. did it with Iron Man. I think the actors in the Lord of the Rings movies did it too. Like, I'm pretty sure John Rhys Davies did a fair number when he was Gimli. Like, I think the scene he did it was the Toss Me one. They're outside Helm's Deep on the wall trying to, ambush the Uruk-hai at the front gate and just like, toss me.
Yeah.
And then, Aragorn looks at him like, what?
Oh, yeah. You remember that one Troy Baker story where he got the role of Joel? In the line here were like a bunch of older people. And he back then he was like in his 20s or so. Youngest guy to ever audition for him. And then he went in and they were so impressed with his skills, they decided to put him as Joel, who was like a decade older than him or two.
It's amazing how much effort, and it's amazing what you can do, like, with the material you're given.
Yeah.
As long as, like, my thing is, I'll happily take on, like, any project, or, like, if somebody's, like, doing, like, a show or something, I'll happily, like just give me the script. What's it about? What's the story? What the characters are? And do you guys have a script involved or like a draft of it? I'll happily read it. Hell, I'll even read it in front of you if I have to. It's stuff like, it's interests like that that's severely lacking nowadays. And people, I wish more people had like, and people are shy. I get the fact that everybody's shy and has stage fright and this, that, and the other thing, which is natural. It's natural to have all this stuff, to have feelings like that. But people should be proud of the fact they actually went out and auditioned.
Exactly.
And that's like, and it should be like a good feeling, like, okay, I can actually do this. Because, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not, because you have to really think of, like, okay, how am I going to do this? And to visualize the character, your potential character that you're going to be voicing probably for the rest of your life, or given how many episodes there are, how many seasons, or what have you, or how long the game's going to be, and how much you're given. It's creativity like that is sorely missed.
Yeah. Everyone now says, I gotta have, this person gotta be black, this person gotta be gay, this person gotta be this and that. It's annoying. Let's not care about the person's skin color or gender, please. Let's care about his...
I care about, like, the person's talent. Yeah. That's all I care about. It's like, look...
I mean, voice acting is like a whole different avenue. It's like...
You don't even see their faces, and my roommate made that point, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. She's more pissed off about this whole thing than anybody else. And she's like, you don't even see their face. You just hear their voice.
It's like,
it could be anybody behind that mic. It could be anybody, which is the beauty of it. It gives that illusion, which makes it work.
Yeah. It's like,
you can assume all you want, but the thing is, though, when you do see who it is, people needed to have, just roll with it. It's like, oh, okay. So what? This guy is this color. I like the character. I like the voice actor. I like him. He's cool. But no, not with these people. No, they just go off on these temper tantrum. They just get pissed to be pissed just to gain attention. Like, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, like
how many? I wonder how many of the BS articles, how many of the posts is just fake garbage attention seeking. I wonder. I mean, it would probably go beyond 1 billion right now.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's really hard to tell which is serious, like which is like legit criticism versus the criticism just to gain attention. It's really difficult to tell nowadays.
It's like the phrase, the left can't meme, because you can't tell whether they're being serious or not. So it's like 99% of it, it all sounds the same. And as for the voice acting, it's like T.C. Carson is a black guy and he plays Kratos.
Yeah.
And he's fucking awesome in it. James Earl Jones, Darth Vader, don't care. He's great.
Or how about Mike Henry, aka Cleveland Brown? He's white and he actually plays a black guy.
Yeah.
Or the guy who played Boo in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That pissed me off with what happened with those two actors. That pissed me off. I'm like, for fuck's sake, people, if you really like the character, this shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and it's like, but you have these ideological obsessed whack jobs who scream so loudly that the studios think, oh, it's majority of people, when really it's just like what two idiots with a stick up their ass.
Bro, like 2%, like 2 to 5% of the fake ass ones. They're listening to them rather than 95% of the actual fans who know the show, who know the characters, who love the characters, and buy the merch and all that. We're getting pushed aside.
Yep.
Which is sad.
Yeah, by these grifters and whatnot, pushed aside, bullied off. It's sad, man.
It's like then they wonder why Japan is getting all the dough.
Yeah,
because Japan doesn't give a fuck.
I was laughing so hard at Hollywood getting angry at Demon Slayer making big bucks, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're jealous. They're jealous.
Keeping the theaters.
Hell, if I were the director and I made that much money off that movie, I would trash every fucking person in Hollywood. Be like, you're just jealous because I made a better film than you can conjure up.
Hell, I hate to bring it up, but look at Star Wars. I mean, ask Stig Kenobi and OG Star Wars. They've done their homework. Nobody's buying Disney merch. They're all buying Legends EU stuff.
Which is not a bad idea, because
that's what everyone care about Star Wars for. Is basically
like, I go into a Barnes and Noble, I see EU book stuff that is like fewer in number, but then I look and it's like you have all this new stuff piled up from amateur writers and nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
And the only one that probably does get any, the only one whose books probably do get any sales is probably Timothy Zahn, because he's like one of the few, if not the only EU writer that's still employed there who knows how to write a good book.
Yeah, exactly. Timothy Zahn's a good author.
Yeah,
and that's my opinion, though.
And he actually gets the characters he writes and knows how to work within the established boundaries of the universe.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else, like James Luceno, Troy Denning, Karen Travis, it's like, I want those guys back.
Same here, dude. No wonder why those Old Republic stories on audiobooks on YouTube are good.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned that Old Republic omnibus that's slated to come out on the, what was that, January, February, March, 7/7/21. And I'm pre-ordering that soon as the links go up. I'm not letting it get away. It's like I can't even, like, they re-released like them on the individual. They released the volumes. I've got like volume 2 and 3. I can't even find volume 1. It's not even physically on sale on Amazon anymore, which pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't care if it's $100. I'm getting it. Not letting it get away again. And I kick myself for I kick myself for having gone on Star Wars fatigue in 2008 because there's a lot of books and comics that I missed. Very good ones, too, like the Darth Bane trilogy, Darth Plagueis, so on and so forth.
Darth Krat.
Oh, Darth Crate from the Legacy
Crate,
series.
Darth Vane. Darth Crate. Darth Vane.
Bane, yeah. Bane. He's the guy who did the whole Rule of Two thing that they mentioned in the prequels. Only two there are. Master
the inventor
and
of
apprentice.
it. And this was this other guy, Anya Solo.
Anya Solo, yeah, she's like the great granddaughter of Han and Leia.
Yeah.
You got the Fell Empire, who's basically the Empire, but good because new management.
Yeah. And also, the Sith are the bad guys. They actually own the galaxy now.
And they're actually interesting. Like Darth Crate, he's a character from the Clone Wars comics who was raised as a Tusken Raider. So he has a bit of an interesting history with Anakin. Because in the Republic Clone Wars comics and by Dark Horse, he was having a nightmare where he blurted out the fact that he murdered that Tusken Raider camp when his mom died. And he's like, I'm not telling anyone. Your secret is safe. It's like Anakin inherently doesn't like him because of his prior experience, but they're like on, I guess you could say, mutually beneficial terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be the safer way to go.
What's that one guy, Darth Bane, that came after Crate or something like that?
No, Crate came later. He's Asharad Het is his real name. He's the guy I mentioned.
Yes.
He's the main villain in the Legacy comics. Bane is the guy who basically killed off all the old Sith 1,000 years before the events of the films.
Yes.
And basically made the Rule of Two the ruling philosophy for 1,000 years leading up to Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, and after
Palpatine the Sith kept killing each other.
Yeah. But after the whole Empire and whatnot, and the Yuzhan Vong. Then he brought back the Sith Order again, Darth Crate.
Yeah.
And then here's the funny part: when he was about to die, he went to go to see the Sith for help. And you know what they did with him? Brushed him aside, mocked him, belittled him for breaking rules and taboos and whatnot.
Yep.
And then
that's what happens.
And then he went to do his own thing. And then he's like Dark Crate was like on the guy who actually basically succeeded in destroying the Empire, not Palpatine in the sequel trilogy. He will make Kathleen Kennedy jealous. What he did.
Hell, the Fell Empire is basically a reformed version of the Empire because it's got like the descendants of Jaina Solo, in the ruling family.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I loved about Legends. You had the characters lived. Yeah, you had a couple of bad apples like Jason, who's basically who Kylo Ren is plagiarized off of.
Yeah.
But Han and Leia were married. It's like, come on. They go through so much in their marriage, and yet they pull out. They deal with it. It's like that's inspiring. I want that. I don't like this deconstructionist.
Yes, that's not no Star Wars, man. That's not Star Wars.
I mean, Han and Leia being broken up was like so cheap. Like, why? God forbid we have a happy marriage in our franchise these days.
Yeah.
And Luke had a kid with Mara Jade, and of course, that went all the way up to Cade Skywalker.
And what happened to them? They died?
I believe, if I recall correctly, Mara Jade was killed by Jason.
Yeah.
When he turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
And I want to say Luke eventually died of natural causes because his Force Ghost does show up in Legacy to give Cade Skywalker the pep talk. Even Anakin comes and gives him a pet talk.
Yeah, isn't that one Skywalker descendant that was a jerk and whatnot? He's like the guy who was like really grumpy, a grumpy mercenary, something like that.
Because the Order got severely diminished when Darth Crate came into town, more or less, and he sees the Skywalker name as a cursed one.
Yeah. And also during that time, the Empire base, the Republic basically fell thanks to like Darth Krayt. He like did the finishing blow to it. From after the Wulong Gong, the Galaxy, the Clone Wars, it became the Roman Empire, basically.
And it also worked because the characters still had prodigy that lived on.
Yes.
They didn't all get disgraced and killed off.
Yeah. No. You got all these people that stuck together, like from like disgraced generals that like, or like, and people that want to make change, but were on the run thanks to the new rule of the Sith. So they decided to like band together and fight against this new threat.
Exactly.
Which I love Legends very much, dude.
It's so sad how
Star Wars became
everything
shit wars.
It's easy to plagiarize stuff. That's how sad it is.
Yeah.
And
you meant rehash stuff. I mean, you meant
love the
stuff.
EU.
Yeah.
I love the expanded universe stories because it dives so much deeper.
Yeah.
And everything else in between from all the characters, like where Jango Fett came from, how the Clone Army got started, all the way up past the Battle of Endor, what happened after that.
You learn more from what wasn't explored before, like the Mandalorians, like Peyton Blackman and BioWare and Karen Traviss. They went full J.R.R. Tolkien when it came to the Mandalorians, making their language and everything.
Yeah.
It's like it's no wonder they're one of the best factions in the galaxy.
Yeah, because of those guys. Because people that care. Imagine, dude, it is so bad right now. They can even hire us if they're dire to need to, that are fans, and they can write. We can come up with some good stories.
And it's like
because those guys have passion. We have passion. These newer guys, they're just like handed the keys to them. You know what they do with it? Whatever.
Chat on it.
They just drive it off a cliff.
Yeah. Exactly, dude. Exactly.
And which is why so many creators nowadays they are just so worried about like
what happened,
like about backlashes and all that. And it's like, if you have an amazing project coming out, like a video or a video game or a movie, go for it. Who gives a shit if it offends people?
Yeah.
Just don't listen to
let the film or show or game do the talking. You just sit back and watch the reactions.
Exactly.
You don't have to do anything. Just let the game do itself. Just let the thing do itself. Let your own creation do the talking for you. And if people don't like it, if they don't like it, so what? It's proper, but sometimes you gotta take. The problem is people can't take proper criticism because of these people. It's hard to tell which is proper criticism versus made up, hokey garbage just to be, I'm awesome, I'm trendy and shit like that.
Yeah,
I can give some good credit. I can give some good criticisms here and there, but it's not like I'm knocking them down or anything. I'm saying, look, here's what you could do. You can improve from this story, or make this character, or give this character like a bit of a better backstory, like add more to it. That way, when you do come out with a sequel, you can learn from like what made the first one successful and build on the stuff that works rather than reinvent the wheel on stuff that didn't work. Just toss out the stuff that didn't work, but keep the stuff that worked in and go from there. You can expand on it. It's not that hard to expand. It's easy to expand. But no, people just want to take the cheap and easy route. Like, we're just going to keep we're going to keep the bad stuff too. And hence why we're seeing all this shit happening.
Yeah, it's like I've been reading.
Especially like with Okay, yeah. Like with the Last of Us Part 2, like how they just killed off Joel and just like destroyed a franchise that would have been possible with freaking people like Neil Cuckman and shit like that.
And
Yeah.
Neil's the problem with Neil is he doubled down on it rather than just letting the game explain itself. He had to go and pour salt acid into the wound with having Anita Sarkeesian on stage and all that. It's like, dude, you're digging your own grave. Stop.
Exactly.
I
Man,
am amazed. I am amazed
on,
with the
man.
people in that crowd. I was
Yeah.
amazed that no
Guess what?
one was.
Challenging him. And you know the fun part is 70% of Naughty Dog quit. What I heard from
Oh,
rumors.
I'll blame them. I do not blame them for quit, and I would quit
Yeah.
too if that were the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
I would be so upset. I would just take all my. I would take all my
went to
stuff.
Microsoft.
I would take
Yeah.
all my stuff and be like, "Hey, look, I'm a free agent, willing to work
Yeah.
for people for a good story,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
or put me on a project that needs help."
To go with what Anime Night was saying with regards to criticism, it's like I've been binge reading a whole bunch of EU Star Wars books that I recovered over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's like there was one author, there were a pair of books written by Barbara Hambly, I think her name was. The first one was, if anyone follows me on Twitter, you'll probably have seen it lately, but I compared her first one, Children of the Jedi, to Planet of Twilight. And it was like, I liked the ideas of the first one, but the writing was so disjointed, I couldn't stand it. It was boring. But then I read the other one, and I'm like, huge improvement. It's like my criticism. Yeah, I know I'm reading the books like decades later, but it felt like the criticisms I had with the first book were like fixed. It's like, thank you. That is how you do it. I can actually read it in a flow where it's like I understand what is happening, and it doesn't come across as disjointed. And
Exactly.
it was made by creators who cared. They cared enough where they understood the characters. Yeah, not every new idea worked. Hello, Crystal Star. But at the end of the day, I can at least separate the good from the bad and know at least they were trying. Yeah. I do not have that motivation with the Disney canon stuff because I know where it all ends. There's no point in being invested, and it doesn't help when you have Chuck Wendig, who can't seem to write beyond the 6th grade, and another jackass like Jose Older, who, along with others, keeps going with basically disgracing the characters like Han and Luke. Even Leia got blowtorched in one of the lead-up books to Force Awakens, where, yeah, that's cool. You served the Republic loyally for all these years, but since you're the daughter of Darth Vader, we're casting you out. Bye, bitch. I'm like, what? That isn't... Everyone in the New Republic in the Disney version is a moron.
That's why they fell. That's why they fell and on the losing side.
Yeah,
precisely. And
because they're all idiots. Here's what we'll do. Can I add one more thing to it, Anime Night? No disrespect to you.
No, go ahead, Alex, man. Go ahead.
But let me tell you this. The only way they can do Star Wars is do a reboot. But not just how the rumors do it, but do it like in a certain way to like the Veil of the Force or something like that. There was a major battle that happens between those two guys. It has to be a build-up to it first. And then during the Veil of the Force, something happened to the timeline, and they somehow like this whole problem. Like the meshing and timelines collided.
Yeah,
make that into a reboot.
I'll tell you how I would do it, but first let Anime Night say what he was going to say.
Anime Night. Sorry about that. I'll let you continue now. My apologies.
Oh no, you guys are fine. I appreciate that, but the point is though the reason why you, me, Alex, Mr. Anime, and a whole bunch of others, why we criticize it is because we're not angry at them. It's like, hey, what's up with the inconsistencies? We like the idea and the story you presented, like how Alex was explaining. But we're trying to basically give a little constructive, like, hey, if you're coming out with a different book, just take stuff that worked. It's simple like that. We're not here to alienate and be like, oh, you're a bad writer, blah 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 blah. We're trying to help. We're fans. We actually are invested in your story, and we're just giving you a few pointers to help you to in understanding terms.
Yeah.
But now,
sorry.
But now it's just but now they just look at it like, oh, look at those people, look at the haters right there. They think we're haters when we're not.
No,
I look at it as like constructive criticism. Now, hate is like, oh my god, I hate how this character is written. This person's way too overpowered in the wrong ways. You can fuck up a main character real fucking quick. It's easy to do that. It's not easy to maintain a character without making it obvious. Because, I mean, the reason why so many past characters worked is because they had like great character development done the right way. It was built up to where it had a huge payoff, and they became immortalized in the lore that they're from. Which is why we all look back at the past superheroes, like from Luke Skywalker to Professor X or Wolverine or what have you.
Yep.
We look to those, or even the powerful female girls like Wonder Woman, Xena, Battle Angel Alita, just to name a few. The reason why we look to those characters is because they had well-written stories from humble beginnings to the moment where they decided to become the person that they were destined to be. They just didn't know it.
The hero's journey.
Exactly. It's the hero's journey. And there's also villain's journey too. We can't forget the villains too, because they deserve the equal amount of respect.
Yeah.
And that's why Darth Vader. Exactly. And that's why Darth Vader was so successful, why Jaws was so successful, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Leatherface. Who's the one? I'm missing someone. But you guys get my point. Yeah. Point is, if you have a well-written character, you're gonna get so much. It's gonna get so much attention and everything, and people will regard it for generations to come.
Exactly.
Nowadays, you got these stupid ass people who are like, "Oh, we gotta change everything." What happened to creating your own character? Why do you have to go and bastardize the established characters? That's why I don't. That's why I don't get it. That's what I do not get about these people.
They don't like taking risks, and plus it's work.
Yeah, and
basically they don't put in the effort to do things because it's actually like Omega was saying, it's too much work for them, and B, if they actually did try creating something, then it wouldn't actually fly, and basically it wouldn't make as much money as something that's already been made successful. So if they had to freaking reboot something like Terminator Woke Fate, for instance.
Oh, that one bombed. Yeah.
As soon as I read the synopsis, I'm like, done. I just put it in like box office bomb category.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Here's I have one more point to add. I am all for like alternate universes and all that expanded upon, like with Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I am okay with that. I like different dimensionals of the different heroes. I am okay with that. I have no qualms whatsoever if done properly.
Yeah.
Like with Spider-Verse, the X-Force, all kinds. The New Republic, the Old Republic, the New Empire, like you guys were talking about. It's stuff like that I am all for, and it adds more to like the lore style. It adds more to it of the franchise, which is a really great thing. and it doesn't hurt anybody. It's not bastardizing anybody. The characters are, everybody has relevancy in the story without making them look bad. And that's where Disney and every other fucking company is failing at. They lost the creative edge. As soon as they seen the dollar signs and all this crap that came out in the last year, and the last 3 years, actually, no, correction, 4 years, they literally lost what made them so successful in the first place.
Yeah.
If I was an owner of a multi-billion-dollar company, I would look at what makes the product work, like what makes Mr. Anime's anime work, or Omega's manga work, or Alex's Star Wars stories. I look at each one and see what makes it work. How can we expand upon it? How, what are the fans like? Who's reading who's reading, watching, buying the merch? That's the mindset that's lacking nowadays, and it's pissing me off.
As far as rebooting Star Wars is concerned,
if done properly, it could work. If done properly.
Yep. Here's what I would do. First off, of course, decanonize the sequel stuff. I mean, I don't know if I would just say it doesn't exist, because unfortunately, you've got new people that came as a result of it. But what I would do is just wipe the slate clean again and have the new movies be ones based on George's treatments, albeit modified to suit the circumstances, because Harrison Ford's never going to come back. Carrie Fisher is sadly dead. The only one of the three who probably will ever do anything Star Wars again is Mark Hamill, and I heard from the grapevine that was actually him actually being Luke in Mandalorian. Of course, they just they did the mocap on his face. I don't know if it's true though, but basically do those treatments, with the wills of the Force and all that.
Yeah.
But have the children of the Solos and Skywalkers in the lead. Bring in Jaina, Alana, or Ben, or Kate, or whoever you want, whichever one fits the time frame. I personally would go with Jaina and Ben. Jaina Solo and Ben Skywalker, and Alana Solo, since those would take place like after all the stuff that happened, and have that be the trilogy where you have the story George wanted to tell. If the prequels were about the father and the OT was about the children, then this would be the grandchildren and the great grandchildren, and you have all three generations like properly. They're not killed off and replaced by Z-list fan fiction characters. Like it's the genuine article continuing where the original heroes left off. And I would also largely reintroduce the legends, or at the very least the stories from Legends that were canon at the time. And if there are a few stories in Disney that fit, sure, I'm fine with those, so long as they're not offensive to the lore and consistent continuity. But until they do that, I don't honestly care about any of the new stuff, because so far it all leads into the dead reboot sequels by Disney. So that's really the only way I'll ever pay attention to them ever again.
Yeah.
I did like what the one thing I did like about Force Awakens was Finn's character from the beginning, like a stormtrooper gone rogue after like an insider, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's not original. Kyle Katarn started off as that and became a Jedi, but I could definitely see it being, his own thing in a way, considering his background. You were saying?
Yeah, I was okay. I was okay with that concept. I was okay with them. Like, okay, I can live with this.
And what they did with them, they wasted him.
Big league. All because China got offended. All because China gets offended.
Yep. And I kick myself for falling for it, like the red, despite the red flags. Like I assumed, like many, that Disney had a plan that they would
Yeah.
straighten things out, because yes, there were some things in Legends that didn't flow well. I also you could but then again, that's what happens when you have an ever growing universe where the source of the material himself only allows it more to be expanded depending on the given time. Like, you could not, there was nothing to do with Clone Wars until the prequels came out, because George Lucas did not want to delve into it yet. But that gradually, of course, got filled in when he was like, okay, the gate's open, go ahead. So, but then here comes Disney, who wipes out all of it, thinking we're going to make a new timeline. Everything's going to connect and make sense. Except they did an even worse job.
Yeah. George actually did it better, because it was mentioned, because the Clone Wars were mentioned in episode 4 in A New Hope, but he wanted to wait a little bit until we got to the prequel, which would be the prequel trilogy.
Yep.
And go from there. So he actually made the right decision, and it actually went, and it was done, and the result was successful. Sometimes it's better to be patient rather than rush things, because it's an awesome idea, but the way you gotta build it, like the way you gotta present it, how it's gonna work, where is it gonna go, it's not easy.
No, I mean,
And
the prequels were flawed, but I can at least give credit to George for trying to innovate.
Yeah.
And if you talk to users like Sir Tremendous or Stig Kenobi, they did their research. It's like a lot of the issues that happen with the prequels, it's like they're not entirely George's fault. Like, he didn't want to direct these originally because he knew his limitations, how he was not good with romance and melodrama. He went to Spielberg and Ron Howard and everyone else, and they all said, "It's your baby, George. You do it." And well, that's what happened. They all said no, and he went and did it anyway. So it's not entirely his fault. And while I do think the execution was flawed, the story was still good.
Yeah.
When you look at it. And it's like Jeremy Jahns, even he admitted, like, he was watching Bram Stoker's Dracula one day, and then it clicked with him. He got it. How the fall of Anakin is basically like Dracula. Legendary warrior loses the woman he loves and basically sells out his soul to the devil, essentially.
Yeah.
I personally would have had it. Me personally, I would have had Attack of the Clones be the first one, and then have a middle movie set in the Clone Wars with Anakin's knighthood.
Yeah.
But George was, at the time when he still cared, he had the multimedia projects happening all over the place, which filled in all the gaps. Yeah. So if you were curious about one thing, no problem. There was a book and comic right there, literally waiting for you.
Yeah, he was prepared too. And man, George Lucas got screwed over, man. And can I add one point here? You heard the saying, these authors coming out and saying Disney's not paying them for their royalties.
Yes.
Guess what? That's the real reason why they took out the EU, because they don't want to pay those writers their royalties.
Exactly.
Exactly. Follow track the money.
They bought it so they can legally steal from them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do like I'm surprised. I'm still amazed they haven't done a count, like a suit or some shit, because that should be illegal. I think it is. I don't know the logistics enough to know. But that stuff should be like highly illegal, to where you can sue them, where you do have a case.
Yeah, exactly. He has a case.
That's like if I took over a company from Mr. Anime, but I'm not going to pay his writers their royalties and hire new ones, his writers can sue me. So that's why I would be facing is multiple lawsuits.
Yeah. Even the EU writers. We
all know how Disney will do it. They will do it out of court, no publicity, or just straight up assassinate him.
even the EU writers, they joke about the sequel trilogy on Twitter from time to time.
Yeah.
It's like they know, yeah, they threw us out like trash, so why do we have to pretend to like these?
Yeah, it's not good. I don't blame them
Especially
at
when we
all.
did it already.
Yeah. What they're going to do is how they can save the fan base. Legends returns to canon, baby.
And I would bring back all the original writers that
Yeah.
were part of it.
Yeah, all
Even
these
the
original,
ones that were kicked out. Like
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 trash.
a lot of people like him. I don't. He kind of goes into I personally lump him in with the category of creators who they basically, where you guys were mentioning, they don't try to fit in with the existing work. Dave Filoni. I'm sorry, but 2 half-decent characters, Ahsoka and Rex, does not fix the fact that he trashed 30 other ones and other events just to squash them in when the timeline was already pretty much set. You know, a good writer like Timothy Zahn, he will pick a part of the story of the timeline where, okay, I can work with this and work around it. You know, it's like they want everything to be open so that way they can do what they want with it. But a good writer gets around, works within the established rules and and works with it. Dave Filoni pretty much just threw all of it away and said, fuck all that. I'm making my own shit over all of it. And so you have characters like Quinlan Voss who are written entirely different. General Grievous and Asajj Ventress are pretty much relegated to being Team Rocket villains. And you have awesome characters like Dirge. I remember him from the miniseries. There was even a toy for him.
He was pretty badass. I'm like, okay, I can work with this. I could cheer for this.
And he got replaced with Cad Bane, who is as cookie cutter a bounty hunter as you could possibly imagine. So it's like, you didn't even try, Dave. You just replaced everything and used George Lucas as a shield. And I'm convinced, and he even said himself, he would sneak things past George. And then he touched the Mandalorians and then doubled down on the decisions regarding them instead of actually elaborating like no, this stuff is still fine, it's still canon. But he didn't do that. He doubled down on it, and it caused Karen Traviss to leave, who, along with Hayden Blackman and BioWare with the Old Republic stuff, fleshed out the Mandalorians to the way they were. And then he comes along and completely spits in the face of it without elaborating on the specifics. So it's like, I put in all this work and he just came in and ruined it. Why am I here?
Yeah.
So he's been part of the problem even before Disney showed up. So
I will say though,
anime fans are getting the short end of the stick here.
You were saying?
Yeah. What I was saying was basically us fans of like certain entertainment, we're actually all getting like the short end of the stick here.
Yep.
Exactly.
You have these new guys coming in who don't give a shit about what came before. And it's like, why are you doing this to our characters and stories when we've put decades of time and money into them? It's like,
especially with new animes from interspecies reviewers, if Funimation dropped it like, oh, we're not touching this. Meanwhile, they had panty and stocking, so many other risque animes like that.
Yep.
It's like it's so stupid.
That's a funny one because I feel like Funimation just bought it without even paying attention to what it was. And then when the SJW started crying, they were like, "Oh shit, what did we get?"
Goes to show, which is why I loved Madhouse, Aniplex, the classic ones the classic companies back then. I just wish. I'm speaking with one of the I was talking to someone earlier. I forgot his Twitter handle. He came up with this idea of like starting up a new anime company with like and partner with like a few other companies to get some stories going.
Like
I'm like, okay,
Sentai or whatnot.
yeah, something like that. But this time, but the direction and everything would be focused with the fans, like work in tandem with the fans, rather than the special interest people like you see with Funimation and all these other crap, all these corporate crony morons.
Yep.
I would if I was in charge of an anime company, I would get rid of the special interest people and hire actual advisors of the that are for the anime, who are for the fans, and be like, okay, guys, what can we do? We need a new anime. Oh, we have a very successful one that ended its last season. Now we need to come up with another one, not to be like just to be as successful, but not copy the same thing.
Yeah. Because you don't want to redo the same thing over and over again because it gets stale. Which is part of the criticism Omega over here has when it comes to shonen, because you have a lot of shows that all feel like variations of the same damn thing, so it gets old after a while.
Yep,
Exactly. And
exactly.
I agree with that because it's easy to have like a genre, and it's also easy to have subgenres. But when you really look at it, and Omega, and I know Omega brought this up too, which I credit him for as well.
Thank you.
He does have a point because you can only do so much with it until as it becomes more and more stale. It's like, crap, what haven't we done? Like, what
True.
haven't we done that can revitalize the interest? Like, make and bring in new fans without alienating the old fan, like the classic fans.
Yeah.
What can we do to balance that out? That's the number one question these people need to ask. The people up in the writer's box, the people who are in charge, like the CEOs and all that crap. What is the one thing we can do? All the storyboard artists, everybody on each level needs to ask that one important question. How can we bridge the gap with the classic fans and the new audience that we want as well? How can we bridge that and keep the interest going, and so we can do more projects?
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're just shoveling crap in our faces like they don't even care anymore. It's like,
They
oh, we're gonna ignore you guys. We don't like you. We don't like you older fans. We're going for the younger fans here. It doesn't work that way. It can't work that way because the fan base, every fandom has different cultures, different age gaps. It's
and they
one giant thing, but there's multiple different. It's so diverse with everything.
yeah.
You can appease everybody without alienating anybody.
Yeah, you don't have to throw out the old fan base who built it up in the first place to appeal to new ones who depend on the old fan base to get to know it, or worse, chasing after a phantom audience that was never interested in the first place.
Which is happening to Star Wars and many things in Hollywood right now. I like that term, phantom audience. Let's take that term and just use it, because
Yeah,
what we see on Twitter and
That's
whatnot,
actually
those
that's
are the
actually a
phantom
brilliant term right
audience.
there.
Because basically, what they do is like they pretend to like it, and they don't even check out the old stuff.
yeah.
They
Like
don't check out the side stories. They don't check out anything that made it good in the first place. They don't seek out people that give them nods. They don't look a non-bench fan or a fake fan. Once I was looking on Crisis Core videos or something like that, and I looked on a comment on YouTube, and this guy was on. This guy said I came in through Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I just checked out Crisis Core, and then so on. And that shows he's a real fan. He's a real new fan, and he loved it ever since.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be just SJWs, just people
Random people.
or it can be like what the corporations think be interested. Like, I know some people like it, but there's a reason why Splinter Cell Conviction failed largely.
I liked
because,
it, but
yeah, hence why I'm
Mhm.
mentioning it. Why
Yeah.
I know some people like it,
story's
but
confusing.
you do have to like admit that because Ubisoft decided to basically ditch what made Splinter Cell what it was up to that point, it's no surprise that the old fan base was like, they're not appealing to what we liked before, so why are we even bothering? So it doesn't have to be just the fact that they're appealing to the woke people, or it could be just like basically anyone who's not there. Like, you
Yeah.
look at what happened to Mass Effect and how they went from flawed RPG with a lot of promise to fuck it, turn it into Gears of War.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's the problem right there. Because it's so sad that they cannot just sit there and be like and take all the concepts that work, like I mentioned that worked, and be like and like go back and read the fan reviews. Like, okay, already, say like Omega came out with an epic game,
Thank you.
and he wants to do a sequel. Well, let's go back to the reviews by actual fans rather than the Phantom fans, and
That you
see
want
what they liked and what they didn't like, and we can balance out the two to make it to improve from the first one.
Yeah. Like, I have no problem attracting new fans, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you don't want to turn it too much on its head, otherwise you lose what made it what it was in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened, and that's what's been happening. They went too far with it. You can only do, and you are right. You can only attract a new audience so much, but when you overdo it, it completely loses its way, and it's like, where's the interest? Why aren't these people buying our products? Why aren't they going to see our
You
shows?
killed the audience.
The
Chasing them.
DMC, same. It happened with that.
Yup.
Nobody liked it, and Capcom Japan was like, "Bring back classic DMC. That's what they want."
And DMC 5 came out, and the rest was history. I remember when that first trailer of DMC came out, I was hyped, man. It's like DMC came back.
The coat of paint may have been different, but the soul was still there.
Yeah.
And they admittedly took a few things from DMC,
but made it better.
But made them better.
Yeah.
Mr. Anime.
Yeah, another example.
Yeah.
Guys, another example of another like chasing after like the Phantom audience
Yeah.
was the Animaniacs reboot.
Oh,
yeah.
With, felt soulless to me, dude.
It's not the Animaniacs that I grew up with, basically. No. I actually used to remember watching the Animaniacs and Freakazoid and other shows like that from the 90s. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that was actually pure nostalgia. But nowadays, it's actually just, a heartless, a shell of what it formerly was.
It's nostalgia bait, just like Mandalorian, really.
Yeah. And Grogu's like the only thing keeping Star Wars alive at this point, which is a shame.
But he's dead anyway if the sequel movies are any indication. So it's like, yeah.
A waste of time.
Pretty
Unless
much.
they reboot it. Like, they have to reboot it or fans are going to be mad that Grogu's dead.
Yeah. Like, I'm pro Fandom Menace, but when I see a lot of them, falling for the same tricks again, I'm just like, dude, you're Stockholm Syndrome. Why are you falling for it again?
Yeah.
So when Stig Kenobi, he brings it up, they get mad at him. It's like, he's right,
Yeah.
I mean, he can be
Kenobi because I want to interview him for the podcast one day.
You can. Well, he doesn't go by that name now because Twitter kicked him out over an innocuous joke.
Wow.
But I can send you his new Twitter account.
That's perfect.
Yeah, I have my phone on me as well, so
yeah. My cousin need to put him on a podcast episode with featuring Star Wars if he wants to.
Yeah.
Well, it's my favorite movie IPs, and seeing Last Jedi, we don't get into that.
Like Last Jedi was the one that
I had to
I had to
physically hold my sister back from punching the screen. I
dude,
had to hold.
sorry about interruption, but I get what you're saying, dude. But let me just tell you that I was so pissed off. Like, man, well, that's not how the Force works. And man, this film sucks, man. That's not how Star Wars is written.
It was the one that made me take the glasses off, because I watched the first time. I was like,
nostalgia. Okay, let's see how this goes. Yeah, same here, dude.
At first, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Then I saw the reaction and all the good points being made, and then I look at everything, all the red flags that happened from the canning of the EU, and I realized, oh my god, I fell for it, and I've kicked myself like ever since.
Idiot. Yeah, same here, bro. This ain't Star Wars. I quit the franchise after that film.
Yep.
Rogue One, I admit, was a great film at the end. I had my nostalgic gaggles still on, but at least, in my opinion, at least it tried.
I heard that even like what happened to Solo, even Rogue One got studio interference.
Yep.
Except it was much more quiet under Rogue One as opposed to what happened to Solo.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually watched Solo, and I actually, truth be told, I did enjoy the presentation of it. I'm like, okay, I can live with this.
Yeah.
But what was up with Darth Maul at the end? What was up with that? That's one thing that just scratched my brain. I mean, I'm happy to see him. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to see Darth Maul. I was happy, but I'm like, where does he fit in all this? So, upon doing more research and everything, he's part of a syndicate. It's like an underground syndicate or something.
Oh, the original materials for the sequel trilogy that George Lucas made. Rumored to be made.
I personally, I don't know how much of it was, because here's the thing. I have a little problem when it comes to those leaks, because some of this is stuff that either was greenlit or was meant to be done by Lucas, while others kind of came out of nowhere. So I don't know how final the original story was for Darth Maul in the sequels. I personally would have gone with Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
Palpatine's master, the one that he talked about, who had a whole book based around him, by the way.
Yeah.
I would have loved to seen a standalone film about him. I would have been fine with it, but because we hear so much about him, but we only know so little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he become Dark Lord of the Sith outside of the book, though? Because he was mentioned in the movies, but we don't even see an image of him. We are just going off based on what was said. Because in our minds, we're like, oh, cool, he's a powerful Sith Lord. And Palpatine tells a good story, too.
That's one of the best things about
I give credit to Palpatine. He builds him up like this unstoppable badass.
Yeah, he meddled with the Metachlorians, and it kind of feeds into theories was his manipulating of the Force what caused a feedback that pinched out Anakin? It's it kind of opens the doors for a lot of interpretation, really.
Yeah, it popped like a zit on a galaxy's cheek, and then out popped Anakin. Kind of like that, basically. But with all due respect, as funny as that is, with all due respect, but it is an interesting theory. But I wish it had more evidence to back that up. What was Darth Plagueis' true intentions? Was this his idea all along? Because like I mentioned, we don't know that much about him.
Yeah.
What was his goal?
I have not read the novel, where he is a character, because that was during the time when I kind of got burnt out from Star Wars. So now I'm trying to go and track that book down.
Yeah.
But yeah, from what I recall, it got into like, how he was interested in like, the manipulation of the Force and how to, eternal life and all that.
Yeah. The event. Yeah.
And
So
of
that's
course,
how Palpatine learned those tricks.
yep, and of course
Coding and whatnot.
he goaded Anakin with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, I have to go right now. It's been like almost 3 hours. So, any last words before we go?
Sure thing, man. I usually like to actually just close it out with one of my personal favorite sayings, which is respect the waifus, enjoy your fandoms, anime is freedom. And until the next one, this is Mr. Anime 343 saying sayonara, everyone.
Anime night.
Sayonara. Who's
I'm glad. I'm just saying. Happy to see you all again. I'm glad to be a part of the podcast. It's been a while, but I'm glad we had a good episode today, and
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed that unboxing I just did a while ago.
Yeah.
But everybody take what we've said into consideration and decide for yourselves of what you want with your favorite shows and everything, and look at our criticisms as like something to go off on, and do some research. It won't kill you. If you do your research, you'll feel so much better.
Okay.
Plus, you could punk out the Phantom fans who are the fake ass ones who are like, oh, you don't know nothing. They hate it when you bring up facts. If you bring up facts, they'll back off.
Yeah. Alex?
Yeah, you can find me, for those interested, you can find me on Twitter at Alex Saurus and Zilla, the ALEXSAURUS and ZILLA, because, dinosaurs and Godzilla.
Yeah.
And also on my you can also find me on YouTube at with Alex Kogan, KOGAN, with space in between. They're it's not a compound username, so you can find me there as well, where I do game playthroughs, and occasionally, I haven't done it in a long time, but I do occasionally review things like a book or movie, or even a gunpla kit that I build. So those are where y'all can find me, more or less. And yeah, I got nothing else to say except glad to be here. Thanks.
Okay, and so you heard from all my guests, and here's mine. Thank you for tuning in this podcast. If you have a thought, please leave in the comment box below the video. If you like this video, please like the video and share it around all over the internet on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And also don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button and that blue bell as well. And don't forget to hit that blue bell for more notifications on live streams, podcast episodes, review vlogs or videos, just me on my phone, and sometimes a review or two, or gameplay episodes. I'll go back to that soon. And that's all to say for now. Thanks for tuning in to the Omega 13 Dimension podcast. That's all to say for now. Peace. And sayonara.